What up? What up? We already got people in here. We got the chat going. Happy Halloween, Coop. What's going on with you, brother?
You know, thank God it's Friday.
Yes, sir. Oh, we got to get the CJ Kid. He already in here with the super chat, showing super love. And if you don't know, I'm T'Challa Jackson. In a moment, let me get out of this. I can't even talk in this, man.
No,
We'll
you
we'll
can't.
revisit this in a second.
Right.
What's up? What's up? Um, it'd be impossible to do the show like that. I guess we could just get right into these super chats. What do you think?
I mean, since that's where we're at, I had a quick, I did have a quick Drink Champs commentary or thought.
Okay.
So, a lot of criticisms about Drink Champs, a lot of positive reviews about Drink Champs throughout the duration of the show.
Right.
I think one thing that's important to note about the show and why the show works is that, well, the one of the co-hosts and co-owners of the whole project, Nori, used to be an artist. And if you really look at the format of Drink Champs, it's artist friendly. And it's not just artist friendly because it's Nori. It's artist friendly because, Mike, it's set up the way the Yo is set up, the way the studio's set up.
It is.
It's a whole bunch of dudes. Got some liquor over here, got some weed over here. It's like what you want to do with it. It puts the artist, for better or for worse, however you may feel about it, in their element.
It's
It
a
makes them
cipher.
comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that is an attractive feature to it. And so last week when I was telling people, it's like, well, I really wouldn't want to interview Nas. I would just like want to ride around. Well, part of that came from the notion, and first of all, I said it about Griselda first. I told you, I was like, man, we just want to get some of Griselda in the car, ride around the city, cipher, yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Well, part of the rationale for that, and you and I have talked about it, Mike. One of the most impactful moments of our young lives, hip hop wise, was watching Dave Chappelle ride around with who was then known as Mos Def on the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
We already knew who Most was. We already knew Most was nice. But wasn't that like a moment, Mike?
Oh, it was a moment for me. I was a
And then
super fan at
and then
that
you feel
point.
like you knew him a little bit more after that moment.
It was effortless, man. It was like it felt like because at the time all of us were rhyming like every day. That's when
Right.
you actually was getting your rhymes off when you in the car riding around. Somebody got a beat, got some instrumentals or whatever. You riding around and you just rapping in the car, and that showed that moment. And it seemed so
Well,
natural too. And I guess for the
well,
person that was doing it,
well, that's what I mean. Well, the person that's doing it is pretty special on the mic. So
right?
that's part of the effortless feeling. But part of it is the environment and the habit. Part of why I've always brought up like how I really want to interview artists here is to ride around with them or get to them or go in their element is because you have to understand these are artists most of the time, Mike. They're riding around, going from show to show,
Yeah,
from city to city. They literally are in the car listening to beats for whatever project or whoever sent them a verse. It's part of their element. And so when you ride around with them, that's better than interviewing them because that puts them more in their element. You're going to get more out of the artist. This is
I
about the art.
I agree with you on that, and I think the Drink Champs did a real good job of tapping into something that hadn't been
Yes.
tapped into at that moment from an interviewing standpoint. Where, like you said, you're taking them into that studio element with somebody who they've probably been in the studio with or around.
Right.
CJ Kidd says, I'm ready and loaded today, OGs. All right. CJ Kidd also says, with $20 super chat, good looking out. He says, Coop, the way you talk about KD3, first track is going to start with Nas' interview saying, we have a certain formula, but we we evolve with the times, but it's still Nas and Hit Boy. And their message always evolves. Yeah, they're the new Gang Starr. I could see it being something like that. CJ Kidd also says, would it surprise you if KD3 were Hit Boy slash Premier co-produced beat, and Nas gets a Guru verse and makes a track called Moment of Truth? Two, that will make you cry and inspire you to keep going like the first track did. I mean, how dope would that be if we got a Guru feature and a co-produced Premiere track on there for real?
I hadn't thought about that in all honesty.
I'm sure there's some Guru verses out there.
Possibly.
CJ Kidd with another one, showing super love. He says, "A moment of truth saved my life," so it means a lot. Be very careful with the comparison, Coop. It's dangerous. Then again, feelings aren't facts, right, Coop? Yeah, I mean, yeah, moment of truth is special.
Super special.
You got that in your top, what, 30 albums all time?
What, Moment of Truth?
Yeah.
No, it's top 20 rap album. Like I told you, it's like it's in reasonable doubt. It's dark and hell is hot. The Diary by Scarface territory. Like it's that kind of album. America's Most Wanted. Like Death Certificate. Like it's in that next wave outside of the top 10. I think.
Gang Starr is one of the greatest groups of all time, and it's their best effort. So,
I mean, how about this? I think it's like you have to like. How about this, Mike? I had Supreme Clientele and Liquid Swords, I think, when I was making my list, like 12 and 13 or like 13 and 14. I could put Moment of Truth right after that and be totally fine with it. I think It's Dark and Hell is Hot is better. Reasonable Doubt has more impact. But Moment of Truth is actually like better from end to end, more so than both of those albums about the fundamental things like beats, rhymes, and life.
CJ Kid with the super chat says, on 11/11/22, I want to see which are better four albums in order of their release. We got what is this? Stissa versus KD. We got Do versus KD2. We got HTE versus Magic, and we got Moment of Truth versus KD3. I mean, you know, putting them up against Gang Starr really sounds sacrilegious, but it's crazy that these guys were able to do this in a 18-month period or so.
That's what I mean. When KD1 came out, KD1 came out what, May of 2020?
May of 2020. So we're talking about over a 2-year period, slightly over a 2-year period.
So we're talking about 30 months.
Yeah,
about
that's
30
incredible.
Months. So hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I can divide 30 divided by 4. That's about an album every 7.5 months.
Nigga, I could divide. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Coop, blink twice if you already heard KD3."
I haven't heard anything. I haven't even been reaching out or even been like in the thread. I've been in the motion of we got lives outside of this sphere and plus have to spend time being dedicated to this. We have some things to get to as well. So no, I have not heard anything. I don't know any track list. I don't know any guest appearances. You want to know what I was actually thinking?
What's that?
It would be awesome if he had like a Michael Jackson or Prince like inspired song or sample or recording on here. That would be on my wish list. See, my wish list be different.
Don said it was August 2020. Was it August 2020? It might have been. Was it August 2020?
KD1 was August?
Might have been. Look that up real quick. That's even more incredible. Jay Short with the super chat says, how much does projected legacy play into album of the year? I feel SSS is slightly better, but 2022 will be remembered for cheat codes, and they will do a 10 and 25 year reissue. SSS feels, what was that, August? Okay. SSS
late
feels
August,
good.
August 21st.
Wow. SSS says, he said SSS feels good now. KD3 notwithstanding. Okay, so with that being August, we're talking about 26 months.
Over 6 months.
Yeah, 4 albums in 26-month period. Well, thanks for correcting that for us. Eric Terrell also says, when y'all do verses, are y'all trying to win or have fun? I'm trying to win.
Definitely trying to win. I mean, see, here's the thing. I mean, and I'll say this. I think everybody, I mean, you're up 4-1, but I think everybody that you've picked would be the person that I would consider to be in the advantage point. Like, it was Queens versus Brooklyn. Well, if we are saying that Nas is the greatest MC of all time, you know what I'm saying? And if we're saying that Q-Tip deserves mention as the greatest producer of all time, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, well, you got a lot covered right there with Tribe and Nas. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, you had Big and Jay.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about it. It's like you're saying I had Big and Jay, but it's like, let's go back to that classic feel stuff versus the home run. Because that's what we really found out. It's like, well, the classic feel beats the home run. And it's like, I think we kind of already knew that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Kane and Brooklyn and Busta, what did you think about that Kane, Busta, and Conway song? Did you see the video?
No, I didn't see the video.
I
did
watched
hear
the
the record.
video.
Record's pretty dope. What do you think?
I think it's dope. It's dope to hear those guys together. This is what I'm gonna say about Busta Rhymes, man. And you know me, I was a Busta Rhymes fan, like heavy. And I see his style has evolved. Even ELE 2 is kind of like a different Busta than what we're used to hearing. And obviously he's a super veteran at this point. He's not rah rah Busta anymore. But me personally, and again, this is kind of like Kanye saying what he said on on last call when he was like, me personally, I didn't want the introspective Jay, but what am I gonna tell him? Whatever. But anyway, I'm not a super big fan of the street rap style Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? Like the Busta I like is more of the everything remains raw Busta, and I don't even want to take it back there. That's not fair. But if I were to take it to ELE, tear the roof off Busta. That's the Busta I'm a fan of.
I was actually in my head, Mike. I was like, well, I think the Busta Rhymes you're talking about is the "Give Me Some More, Tear the Roof Off" Busta.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your Busta. No, that's my Busta Rhymes too. But here's something that I'm just kind of learning. And my cousin Six used to tell me this all the time. He's like, you got to give these cats room to be different, though, Coop.
You're right.
Like he used to always tell me that. He's like, Coop, you got to give these cats room to be different. He was like, stop. He's like, let them flex different, like outside of their zone. Because here's the reality of the matter. It's like, look at it like this. Like Hakeem had the dream shake. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he didn't go down to the court and use the dream shake every single time to get a bucket. Because he was as talented as he was, there was different ways for him to get a bucket, even though it wasn't as tantalizing or awe-inspiring as the dream shake. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Every point Kareem got didn't come from a sky hook. Every point MJ scored didn't come from a fadeaway or a dunk. You know what I mean? And so I try to learn to look at it from that perspective. So although I don't love that Busta Rhymes like you, Mike, I'll say that guy is like 18 to 20 point a game scorer as opposed to the guy that we know that goes and gets you 25 when he's on his "Give Me Some More, Tear the Roof Off." You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, he's a dope MC when he's doing
right. He's dope. He's an all-star
record.
MC still, but he's not that dude.
It's not. And again, who am I to say what's really Busta Rhymes? It doesn't feel like Busta Rhymes to me. It feels like another rapper, and I think that's one of the things that made him stand out was the fact that he was so different from everybody. Like, imagine if Old Dirty was out here in 2022 rapping like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool, but you did something that nobody else could do when you were doing it. Now you're rapping kind of like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you and I talked about this before. You know, some of that is just the artist pressure from having to play the front. You know, because here's the thing. Prime Busta doesn't have to do that because, well, that's Prime Busta. Prime Busta gets to do what he wants. That's what all NBA or all rap performer, like first, second, or third team is supposed to do. So it's like, well, you look at him in his prime. Well, Mike, is he like a first, second, or third team MC as in the top 15 in his prime? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when you're that type of player, well, you get to just play your game. But as you get older, you start having to adjust and find your niches and your moments and pick and choose your spot and learn how to adjust the way the game goes and evolves, a la a Carmelo Anthony. Like, that's not Melo's game that we just saw the last 2-3 years. He had to make that his game to stay alive in the game.
Now, I'm going to be fair. I know if Busta Rhymes was out here rapping like he was rapping in 98, it probably wouldn't translate in 2022. I get that. And he might look, a little odd at 50 rapping like that. I get that. But it's hard to let go, man. You know what I'm saying? When you know that the version of that person that you liked or was a fan of was a 10, but you're seeing more of a 6-7 level now. It's kind of like, I hate to say this because this always gets a negative connotation. Literally like comparing Air Jordan, like 48-inch vertical Air Jordan from the free throw line to Wizards Jordan. who wasn't a bad basketball player by no stretch of the imagination.
But that's what I mean. But okay, so let's look at that guy. It's like, well, that guy that you're talking about, like the Air Jordan guy, he could sneeze and go get 40.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The guy in Washington is getting 20, like half, like 23 one season and then 20 the next season, right? So let's just break it in half, about 21,
like
22 a game.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Still so all-star numbers.
Right. That is all-star numbers. It's just, no, you remember the guy that could sneeze and get 40. Yeah. Sneeze. I chew. It's like, did he just get 40? It's like, yeah, he got 40.
He was jumping over people.
Yeah, jumping over people. Did a couple alley-oops. Did a couple behind-the-spin moves. Had 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals.
I like the song, though. I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle. I like the fact that Kane closed it. Kane's very strong right now. Conway was on his shit. And I like Kane's closing line, man. Like, you know, who you think I am? DJ Cassidy?
You want to know what?
Like, DJ Cassidy?
The thing I realized in the Brooklyn Queens thing is that, you know, Kane's aura looms so large, and I really, really wish that there were some more songs to match it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the thing about Kane
I feel like if Kane would have gotten more run, if the game would have been different, because I feel like he would have thrived in like Biggie and Jay's climate the same way they did. You feel me?
The game had changed so much, and I mean,
I feel like he would have thrived in that climate, though. Like that mid-'90s climate, I feel like he would have thrived in that climate even more than the climate that he was in. But I think he also helped create that climate. But I feel like he would have been around the people and been able to make more of the songs that would have registered like the way Big and Jay's songs register. Not just a few, not just like Raw and Half Stepping. And you know what I'm saying?
It's like this, man. I think that the skill is why he's held so high. And I think that they knew that was never a question. His skills translate in any era. We've seen that even with the Big L record and all that stuff, right? But the only thing with Kane and, like you said, the Biggie and I'll say the Biggie, Pac, Nas era, and that's slightly before Jay, what would the sound be? Because we saw the only person that was able to really, well, it was 2 people that were able to really transition out of the 80s. You had LL, who went super mainstream, and you had KRS, who went super underground. So where does that leave Kane?
One went really above ground, one went really below ground.
And so where does that leave Kane? Like, if you were to say, and you know, just hypothetically, in the mid-'90s, what record, big hip-hop record in hip-hop, what record would you say fits Kane's style the most? A Big Papa or something? You see him doing that, maybe?
To be honest with you, when I hear One More Chance, Mike, that's what I mean about having the right people around him and having the right things. Like when I hear One More Chance, that's Kane.
What do you think Diddy would have been able to do with Kane? I think that's
what I'm saying. Like, give him a Jermaine Dupri or like a Diddy or somebody like that in his prime. Like, see, he's the guy of all the guys that would have thrived in that R&B hip hop mesh climate. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at what Big and Jay did. It's like, where do you think they got that shit from, Mike?
Yeah.
That's Kane.
He would have been able to make records
One More Chance
Mary.
and Can't You See? Like, I can hear Kane doing One More Chance and Can't You See? That's Kane. Yeah.
Mad Max with the super chat says, Kodak might be the MVP of 2022. Highlights on K-Dot's album gave Diddy cosplaying Son a hit and Super Gremlin and dropped a good tape. He's my MVP favorite right now. We're going to talk about Kodak's album too. We liked it as well. And those are some very good points. What I was going to say about Kane though, okay. We know stylistically he could do those. But when it came to like the rapid flow and the hardcore stuff, do you feel like he would be missing that part of his game doing, some of those R&B records and doing a One More Chance or Can't You See? Because I know he likes to flip it, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but that's what I mean. That was always the thing about Kane was the guy that was still rugged enough that he could go bar for bar, like on some street shit with a KRS or a Rakim or a G-Rap, but could switch it up and do the other stuff. Like, to be honest with you, he could have had the career LL had and had more of the lyrical respect. Like, he could have made Mr. Smith, Mike. Like, how about this?
Now that
like,
I will give you.
Imagine him doing the I Shot You remix and his finish after he's hearing all those guys rap. You feel me?
That is a legitimate statement right there. Damn.
Man, give him the track masters for an album the way that LL got the track masters in '95 for an album. Hey Lover, Mike.
Hey Lover, yeah.
Lounging. I Shot You remix. You can't hear Kane doing those records. That's what I'm saying. It's Kane.
I can hear Kane doing all of those records.
It's Kane.
I mean, I can hear Kane, and I've told you this before, and I say this respectfully. Around the Way Girl sounds so much like Kane to me. You know what I'm saying? And Jingling Baby remix so much like Kane. But yeah, I never thought about the Mr. Smith side of it. What about doing it? You hear Kane on that too?
That's like nothing. That's what I'm saying. These records that we're naming, that's not out of his pocket at all now, is it?
Not at all. And they worked in the 90s. They worked very well in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, he would have thrived more in that climate than the climate that he was in. Because here's the thing about that climate. That climate allowed those guys to make those hardcore and those R&B records in a way that it got them massive followings. See, his problem was well, he had to out-rap Kool G Rap and Rakim and KRS-One and Slick Rick.
The other problem was, though, Coop, the radio wasn't there yet. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
That's why he had to out-rap these guys. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was the goal.
So he was the more radio-ready guy than all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
He's more radio and street ready than LL is. He could have had LL's 90s career.
He really could have.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because I can even hear him on the Flavor in Your Ear remix when I think about it.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could definitely, like, if you're talking about pairing him up with anybody in the 90s from a production standpoint, you got a Diddy out there. You got track masters out there. You got Easy Mo B out there to kind of give you a little bit of balance of both. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. Eric Terrell with the Super Chat says, so y'all say Nas is the GOAT. I say Tupac. Who had a better group project? Thug Life, Outlaws versus The Firm, Bravehearts. I think that his group, I think that's his group's name. Yeah, it's the Bravehearts. I'm going to have to say that the Thug Life album had more memorable moments.
You want to know what? But here's the thing about it, though. Nas has The Firm and Nas has QB's Finest, Mike. I told you I've been going back through QB's Finest.
You did say that. What did you find when you went back to QB's Finest?
No, let's talk about it, because what you really have is a highly, highly, highly slept on project. First of all, Mike, The Bridge 2001. Now, I want you to name me a borough up in New York that has a song that literally has their finest MCs on it, like this record does. Like, it's really from their hood, and the one invitee in, which is Prodigy. Nas is on this record, obviously. Like, Prodigy and Nas in the record. Before them, Capone and Tragedy are on the record. Havoc, Shan. Like, that alone, Mike.
Shan set it off.
Nature and Cormega are on the record together.
Yeah.
That's big. Mike, We Live This with Roxanne Shante and Havoc and Noy. Banger. Find Your Wealth by Nas.
Yep.
Find Your Wealth by Nas, Mike. That was one of the joints that was floating around on one of the I Am bootlegs. Yeah.
I was listening to Find Your Wealth the other day, actually.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Uchi Wally's on there, Mike. You know what I forgot is on there? And this might be my favorite Nature song, Fire, Mike. Remember Nature's record, Fire? That might be Nature's best song.
What y'all thinking?
I know people think the ultimate high is, but Nature is 3 verses, and the hook by himself on Fire, and it's nasty, Mike. He's getting busy. No help, no Nas on the hook, no none of that. It's Nature getting busy. It's his best song.
Man, Max with the Super Chat says, LOL, Kane, a better lyricist than everybody from his era, not named Rakim, But I don't know if he would have had the LL 90s career. Kane is a precursor to Fab and Banks. Dumb It Down says
No, he's
Kane
better than
versus
that.
LL on a versus Monday.
First of all, we have a little Raekwon and Ghostface business to
Yeah.
get to, Mike.
Yeah, we got Raekwon and Ghost business.
I'm feeling like you're in trouble, Mike.
I'm feeling like I'm in trouble too. I'm kind of scared. I
Worried.
want to talk about Kane one more time though. I want to.
Hold on. Let me finish this
Go ahead.
Queensbridge Finest thing.
Uh-huh.
Because I haven't brought up the best record on there, Mike.
What's that?
And I realized something because I listened to it last night. Mike, Self-Conscious with Prodigy and Nas.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that record too. Yeah, I need to go back.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Now here's what I'll tell you about that record that I realized. This was a Prodigy solo record that he didn't finish, that Nas came and sewed up. And Nas is the superior MC to Prodigy, always was. So when Nas does his thing and Prodigy does his thing, it's always going to be Nas. That's just the way it is. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But Prodigy on this record, Mike, he's special. He talking to himself. It's really his record, and I can tell that Nas probably heard the recording of it and felt it. Like, oh no, I feel you. I got something to sew that up. Let me sew that up for you. And it feels like that. Go listen to the record, but it's masterful. They are masterful on there. It's the perfect concept record for Nas to come and finish up.
I mean, it gets no better than that. Smiles and Wave.
And Nas.
Right. Smiles and Wave with the super chat says, took off work for KD3, going to stream properly. Yes. You know, a lot of people were like, yo, you put me on the game. Shit, I was being put on the game. I didn't know that there was a proper way to stream to make sure.
Well, I mean, the way this earth to earth hustling works, Mike, is that you take some shit out the ground and you help it grow, but you gotta feed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm just trying to pass the information along that was given to me. I learned some things too, because I thought I knew how to stream and what affected streams, but it's like then I thought about it too. It's like, well, how much do I know? And so I've been doing my own personal digging. It's not like the information's not there. It's like it's right there.
Mad Max with the super chat says, I forgot G-Rap Kane. It says, LOL, I forgot G-Rap Kane, a better lyricist than everyone from his era, except for G-Rap and Rakim. Let me show some respect. I heard G-Rap out-rap 38 Special. Yeah. It's 38 Speech. Yeah.
First of all, I mean, Kool G Rap as a lyricist is probably only out-rapped on a consistent, lyrical bar level by, Nas, Black Thought, and Rakim. Just like those three, maybe a prime Big Pun. You feel what I'm saying? He's up there.
Yeah, from a lyrical standpoint.
But from a lyrical standpoint, he's nothing short of phenomenal. He's a 10 lyrically, Mike, without question, unequivocally.
We got to get back to our chart too. Unknown Name says Roxanne Shante got off on that track.
Yeah. We Live This. That's what I'm saying, Mike. There are bangers on there. I was like, why did this album not get no love? I was like, oh, right. Copy that.
Jay Short has something to say that I want to piggyback on. That's kind of where I was going. He said, I remember Kane's voice changing, hurt his flow. And I was going to ask you, why do you think Kane didn't continue to evolve in the way that you think he should have or could have in the 90s? Because he did put out a lot of records in the 90s that just didn't, connect.
I think it's hard to do it alone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the short and the long of it. I think it's hard to do it alone. I think what you'll find about your biggest success stories, transferring from the street and the commercial viability, is that you'll find a team. You'll find a Bad Boy. You'll find a Rockefeller. You'll find a Death Row. You'll find a Dungeon Family. You feel what I'm saying? Like you'll find a Suave House. You'll find a Rap-A-Lot. You feel what I'm saying? It's like you're not just that. Like that dude got a team. I'm going to tell you one thing that I realized when we were doing our versus battle. Like, you want to know why The Diary is Face's best album? Oh, the production level is so vastly superior to his first two solo projects.
Yeah.
The team got more money though, and the team is stronger, and the production's better, and they can do more. Like, remember, Mike, when I was playing the White Sheet, how it starts off? Like, think about it. Face does a verse, and then he goes into the whole hospital scene where he's like, that's stuff that they weren't doing on the first two albums. That's upping the ante on the production. That means you got a team behind you. This nigga ain't just rapping no more. He's giving you a very vivid imagery and a street tale. Team helping put that together.
Yeah. Dame with the super chat says, I've been in the Kool G rap 4, 5, 6 bag the last couple of days. Album was fire. Great lyricist. Yeah. What I was going to say, though.
It's a Shame is one of my favorite rap records. All 4, 5, 6, the first single, It's a Shame. Oh, he is bananas on there. Whew.
Does gangster rap have something to do with the fact that, it took a lot of MCs from the previous era off their square? Because it feels like and I don't want to say gangster rap, the West Coast, when Dre and them came through, does that affect where Kane is going? Because, he did have that stint where he was kind of trying to do a little bit more hardcore stuff.
I mean, the West Coast definitely threw a wrench in everybody's plans on the East Coast. There's no doubt about it.
Because it feels like when that happened, the only people that were able to move forward were the ones that kind of built after it. You know what I'm saying? Like when Nas dropped Illmatic, and obviously Ready to Die was highly influenced by what the West Coast was doing. And, by the time Jay came around, Death Row was kind of fizzling out a little bit.
The West Coast, how about this? The East Coast.
And then I can't forget Cube either, because Cube's a big factor in that from a solo tip, too. He dropped some pivotal shit.
He's actually the integral piece of it.
Yeah.
Like people need to understand this is that, okay, NWA and Dr. Dre needed to compete with Ice Cube after Ice Cube left. Right. So it's like, don't think that the Chronic and Niggas for Life, Mike, are not like Ice Cube competitive, like stature. Like, look at this dude who, he left and he's dropping classic stuff, getting his money, doing film. No. Don't think Dre's not seeing that when he's making Niggas for Life and The Chronic. Like, both of those projects. So Cube is integral even in the motivation behind NWA and Dre's departure post-NWA into The Chronic. But what you really have, Mike, and I hate to say it like this, is like, well, they were making better material and it was shit that you could ride to on top of it. Like, let's just run down these albums right quick. And I want you to show me the East Coast albums that are better from that time. Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, The Chronic, Doggy Style. Now, I just gave you 6 rap albums. Now, go and tell me the East Coast rap albums that are as good as that, and then tell me that they ride like that.
Tribe was the only one really competing in that way.
The Low End Theory?
Yeah.
I was thinking the Low End Theory.
And
I was thinking...
And from a solo aspect, it's kind of
I was thinking Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em was the only thing that I could think of, Mike.
Okay. I give you that.
Rakim's third joint, Within the Ghetto and Mahogany and all that.
Great record. And you know what? Right. Honestly, a lot of those songs don't get the appreciation they should because of how hard the West Coast was coming with.
That's what I'm saying. They had it on lock, so people forget how great Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em was. I think Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em is the one that has No Omega on there too, Mike.
Yeah, it does have No Omega on there. The song Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em itself, brutal.
Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em is epic, Mike. That's some of his best bar work.
Yeah, shit's crazy.
That shit crazy.
But even when you think about that era, even LL Cool J, as great as he is, and he's known for his longevity, that was a cold period for him. So I have to think that the West Coast has something to do with that.
Like, no disrespect to Mama Said Knock You Out, but Mama Said Knock You Out is not on the level of those 6 West Coast albums that I just named.
Not as a collective album, but it had the hits on it. It did.
It had the hits on there, but no, as an album, that's not, like Mama Said Knock You Out is not in the same category as a rap album as Niggas for Life, Straight Outta Compton, America's Most, Death Certificate, The Chronic, Doggy Style.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
That's what I mean. They were making better albums and shit that you could ride to. The only album that came out in like that 4-year gap that the East Coast really had that they could hold on to that was like that was Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em in the Low End Theory.
And we can't forget the DLC. That shit was rocking too.
And this is what I mean when I'm saying had it like that. It's like, no. I know Kool G Rap made 2 projects around that time that are classic. It's not on this level, and you can't ride to it like that. You feel me?
Yeah. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, I think The Roots of Evil is G-Rap's best album. Very slept
What, the
on.
98 joint?
Maybe not a variety of subjects, but lyrically, it's ridiculous.
Roots of Evil lyrically is ridiculous. I felt like it was too long even when it came out. I got an advanced copy of Roots of Evil when I worked at Manifest. I remember. Yeah.
Jay Short with the super chat says, Mike, Snoop Dogg and his flow and vibe ended people's prime. He reset the game. Even Cube switched up producers on The Predator. It's a very good point. Because Snoop changed the whole mood of everything and the approach to a record. And as you always say, you say that Snoop is hip-hop's first superstar. I say LL Cool J. I understand where you're coming from with it. But with that being true, if what you're saying is being true, he stepped the level up for what rappers could do, and everybody else kind of had to follow that if you were going to be the man.
See, this is what I mean. Okay, so Snoop is kind of very much like Dr. J. Like, no, there were stars before Dr. J. You feel what I'm saying? But there wasn't anybody really that played ball before Dr. J that you would say was a superstar. Like Kareem, like they're superstar players, not a superstar, as in like there's an aura and a charisma. There's something about what they do and how they do it too, in addition to the game that they play. You feel me? Yeah. He is rap's first superstar really in that regard, because what also has to come with that is the attention too. You feel me? And so it's like, no, he is all of those things. He is rap's first real superstar, very much the way Dr. J is the NBA's first real superstar, as in like a guy, they're like, no, that guy. That's the guy I want to be like outside and inside.
So what do you think that LL's missing in that superstar category? Because the only thing between the two of them that I would say is different is just the aura, maybe, but he has that too.
That's a lot, Mike. The aura, the charisma.
LL has. It's different. He has it in a different way. His charismatic nature is catered more to the ladies.
No, it feels classically trained because it is.
Yeah.
Snoop has a natural aura about who Snoop is. With L, it is some training that goes into it. You appreciate it. You respect it. It's not as charismatic as Snoop. It's just not. Because you know that it's trained. And it's okay, because hip-hop needed that. Like, somebody needed to be that for hip-hop, too. Maybe Snoop doesn't exist if there's not an LL that's classically trained and personable and knows how to do the interview, but also give the interview, you know?
Right. He was definitely ahead of everybody when it came to that. When you look at LL's early interviews, or I don't even want to say the early interviews, let's just say like around the early 90s, when everybody's young and, you know, untrained and kind of talking all over the place whenever they're doing interviews. And look at LL. I think the only person that matches that is Ice Cube. Ice Cube gave great interviews as a youth. He was always very...
But I'm pretty certain he was watching LL and Chuck D do interviews.
Yeah. Now Chuck D too. And Chuck D's a little older. But yeah. But
I bet you Ice Cube was watching LL and Chuck D do interviews.
Do you think the West Coast has something to do with, speaking of Chuck D, Public Enemy kind of like, I don't want to say fizzling out because they've always had great records, but after Apocalypse 91, it was like, you know. Do you think the West Coast has something to do with that too?
I think maybe the
I've never thought about these things. I'm just, you know, discussing out loud, thinking out loud.
No, I get what you're saying. I think truthfully, I think that's a whole nother conversation that is more dictated by the music business per se than the artist.
Oh, that's more of a Kanye topic.
Right. Like what you're speaking to, I think is more you know, the powers that be are like, oh, hold on. This is what I'm saying about what the West Coast did. It's like, well, you can't tell them that the music's not good. It's like, so yeah, there's a lot of bitches and hoes and gang signs being thrown up. Tell me this shit doesn't ride. And so the powers that be are like, well, we don't need to promote this positive message as much anymore.
Well, you know what? I saw that kind of happen in New York radio, even when Atlanta first kind of took over the airwaves. Like, I remember going up to New York in maybe 04, 05-ish, and I was expecting to hear, like, you know, some rapping on the radio. I'm hearing Lil Jon, Get Low, with Yin Yang Twins and stuff. And I'm like,
You're like, what is going on?
Okay. Like, but again, I think that those are more so behind the scenes corporate stuff that goes on where, not to say that the hip hop that was going on in the late 90s, early 2000s from New York was super positive, but there was a lot of lyrical skill going on, and it kind of set this standard where if to get on the radio in that era, you basically had to dumb down your lyrics. You know what I mean? Or dumb down your lyrical ability. Let me say that.
Well, if you look at just that around that time, let's like what would you say, 90 to 93?
I'm gonna say, oh, you're talking about 1993? No, I'm talking about the radio thing. What are you talking about for 90?
Oh, hold on. You're talking about the modern day radio.
Yeah, thing. I'm talking about from, let's just say, 98 when DMX kind of brought the streets back to the radio. Let's just say 98 to 03. We'll end it with 50, right? Because that's when like around 2000, 2001, 2002. Let's look at Ja Rule. Let's use Ja Rule as an example, right? And I say this because Ja Rule was somebody that we knew could get on these hardcore records and catch wreck and do his thing. When you look at how he was able to adjust to what was going to be on the radio, it's very different from what you heard on Vita Vita Vici to when you heard, Always on Time, Ja Rule.
I get where you're going.
You know what I mean? He's the guy who made the necessary adjustments, but you could see what I'm saying based on what his career did. Because other guys that were, New York MCs that had their skill level where it was at, couldn't make that adjustment like he was able to do so.
Understood.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says, it's two albums that came and changed rap, the culture, and that's The Chronic and the Bloods and Crips album. I'm going to say something after I read this. Everyone wanted to gangbang and smoke weed. Nobody wanted to hear the message anymore. You know what? It's funny, man. I used to always see in the record store that Bloods and Crips album. I would pick it up, look on the back, and never bought it. But I always used to see it. I'm like, yo, this is wild. I've never heard it. Have you heard that album?
No. I know exactly what you're talking about, too.
Since we're in the streaming era, I might go listen to that shit just to see what everybody's talking about. It was that impactful? Damn. Unknown name with the super chat says, while looking in the notifications from YouTube, bring up super chats. At least 3 of your streams, my super chats wouldn't process. Just a heads up. See, YouTube is messing with us, man.
Hold on. I actually know who that is because that's actually somebody that I know personally that actually told me that and said we need to start looking into that about our tiers and how our tiers are working. He was like, I tried to shoot you guys, a little bit of love. And I was like, oh, I appreciate you. He's like, no, he wouldn't let me. He's like, you need to check your tiers, Coop.
Man, that's crazy. Okay, yeah. That's on the list. Do you want to go ahead and start talking about this Westside Gunn album, 10?
Yeah.
Niggas is saying the Bloods and Crips album is fire. I'm going to listen to that. I'm telling you, as a kid, I always wanted to pick it up. I used to pick it up at the store and be like, yeah, my parents is never going to buy this for me.
Bloods and Crips album. Wow.
Yeah, somebody said the Willie the Kid is fire. Yeah, the Willie
I'm
the
in a
Kid
different place. I only listen to rap really about this show. You want to know the truth? I listen to rap about this show. I got to be in a mood.
Mm-hmm. What are you listening to on a normal, like Sade or something when you're chilling out?
Yeah, Mike. I mean, I like some of the new stuff. Like, what's her name? I don't even know how to say her name right. The one that does When I'm in Your Arms and all that. Snow.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like all that. I stay with the old school stuff, but like we're in our 40s now. It's like I'm not like running down the street playing the Chronic like every day like I used to in my 20s, or it's not like I don't feel the need to like play Illmatic every Friday like I used to sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, I'm in a different place. A lot of it is about the work.
Jay Short said the Bloods and Crips CD was hood platinum out here.
Here we go.
Man, I gotta listen to this, man. But yeah, Speaking of which, man, Westside Gunn
Oh God.
dropped 10 today. And you know, it sounds funny rolling off the tongue because this album was called something else for 9 other efforts, but I guess since CNN threw out that hit piece on Ye, he had to Westside had to change the name last minute. I would put the back cover of this album out there, but you know, the back cover actually has the original name, and I don't want to get flagged. So anyway, 10 dropped today, and Westside had a host of guest appearances on it. And what were some of your highlights from the album? I mean, we can get into the album, just jump into it. And want to know what the people thought about it. What's your favorite song from it? Yes, Snow Algeria, that's her name.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, see, she's fire to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what were some of your thoughts?
This is a really good album. It's a really good project. He is great at putting, like, he's a great coach. He's a great coach or executive producer. Like, whatever he does and how he puts together and where he puts people when he's like on the chessboard, like placing things musically, he makes it make sense and it works. Like, what is it on BDP?
Mm-hmm.
When he's when he goes when he does the whole "this is how we do it" thing, I was thinking like bring Stove in right after this, just like you did on Vogue cover, and he did it, and I'm like, yes, I'm like he fucking gets it.
Yeah, he does.
He gets it. Like he's listening, he's paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's one of those people that when he has time to put a project together, he puts a really good project together. This is that.
Everybody likes Science Class. I know that was the one you brought up to me.
I mean, when you called me this morning, and I guess hold on, what's the one? What's the one with Mos? I mean Yasin and Yasin and Talib.
Is it Peppers? Isn't that how they say
Peppers?
it? Yeah.
So you called me when you was on Peppers, right? And I was like, the Science classes. Now I'm gonna tell you what's special about Science Class. Now, of course, like you're getting Busta, Ray, and Ghost.
Right.
So it's already special. And they're actually doing special stuff on there. It's like, I know this is actually Street Busta and Creative Busta too, Mike. Right, you know what I'm saying?
It is.
This is the guy that we love, that we think is a 10, but he's on his street shit too. But he's making it work. I think the beautiful sentiment about this record is actually what Stove and Westside did at the end of the record. Did you kind of catch it?
I did, yeah. And you know what? Stove did a lot of really good work on this album.
I don't know how many times I'm going to pull up on this show and say that Stove is a star, but I'm going to go ahead and say it again.
I think Westside believes that too. I want to say it was Fly God too. He said he specifically put that out so the Stove could get some burn because he felt like Stove put out an underrated album in 2018.
He was, yes. I think he was talking about Reasonable Drought though,
I think he was.
And he was 100% right. And Stove is a star. Like, he's just a star. I don't know how else to explain it. And you want to know what? It's like, he's so great at doing what he's doing right now that I started to realize it's like, well, what if he just like Nate Dogg's this on some rap shit? And we only get like maybe 1 or 2 projects out of him because he can do this, Mike. He's stellar.
Yeah.
Like he just gets it. He does different flow and timing patterns that are exciting. As an artist, he takes risks, and he's just entertaining and insightful as hell. Even though the rhetoric might be redundant, he makes it entertaining on an entertainment level. That's almost like I would love to hear him and Pusha T do a song together. How about this? Because you got the guy that's creatively lyrical at it, but the guy that's just like entertaining at it. I told you he's like Two-Face or the Riddler, like when he raps. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get one section of this Stove, and then you're gonna get the rap Stove.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, and he's phenomenal. He keeps this project together with Wes's selections. But the beautiful thing about it is, Mike, they're doing the Ray and Ghost back and forth to end the song.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love that. Like, you gotta love that they get it. That's what I mean about West's thinking. It's like, yeah, I got Ray and Ghost on the record. Me and Stove gonna do the Ray and Ghost back and forth. Right. I was like, yeah, bravo. It is a rap song of the year contender. Yes, it's up there with Aquamarine and Blow for Blow and Johnny P's Caddy. Like, it's right there. It's
Miss LB with the super chat says, don't listen to that album, Mike D. It's only got one good song, Pyru Love. I'm just totally intrigued and interested. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, I wasn't recommending it, just stating the facts. Okay, so I guess it's not a classic. Mad Max with the super chat says, not a Westside fan, but he puts together great albums. I got him and Kanye specifically should take over DJ Khaled, lame over modern day Beethoven. Yeah, he's a curator, and I think that when people get on his records, they understand the moment. And yeah, his albums are kind of like compilations, but we were talking about Pray for Paris, and I hate to always bring up the classic or whatever, but Pray for Paris had a lot of features, but it didn't feel like it did. This one felt like it from the jump. And, and I guess because it did. What was the song, man? It was the third record. Super Kick Party. That's a hard record. And I like when he does his thing by himself, because he can do this thing by himself.
Well, I was about to say, Mac Don't Stop and Super Kick Party are two of the better records on here. It's just him.
Yeah.
So he's more than capable as a solo artist. But I think he really does. I remember he did a long post that we had posted about Mike, and it was like, he really does fashion and envision himself as a curator. I remember him saying, he was like, I could be the illest MC out here if I wanted to be. I want to be somebody that gives like a bigger piece of art to like the culture.
Right.
And so I think he's showing you that it's like, no, I got my MC skills and my rap skills, but it's really my curation skills. A conductor, the way I put this together. And speaking of conducting and putting things together, Mike Conductor.
Conductor's going crazy. He made that track too.
Conductor's going. Mike Conductor has stepped it up a notch.
Yeah.
Period, point blank.
Yeah. I mean, from the Rome Streets album, he was going crazy. And I still rock with that Rome Streets album. I think it might be my favorite Griselda offering. Between that and the Liz too. I like this one a lot, but it's something about when people give you an actual solo effort. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get to that when we talk about Kodak. But I love the compilation stuff too. But when somebody gives you a solo effort, I kind of put that credence. I give it credence over something that's more of a collaboration. What I was going to say though, Westside rhyming skills. He showed out on that song with Black Star, Peppers. Now, his verse is very impressive on there.
I mean, since that's where you want to take it, I wasn't expecting to go there. Well, he's impressive overall as a lyricist and as an MC on this project, period. Peppers is one of the highlights of this album, along with Science Class. Talib sounds great over these type of tracks.
Yeah.
Remember when I was telling you, because you called me after you heard Yassine's part, and I was like, have you heard Talib rap on here? What did I tell you? I was like, these are the beats that Talib needs to be picking to rap to. Like, I don't give a damn Madlib, Yassine, Westside Gunn, Westside Pootie. You need to rap over tracks like this. He sounds great on records like this. He does. And it's one of those things that even though he's coming after Yassine and before maybe the best verse that Westside provides on this album, he makes the transition and it's so seamless. And he sounds great on this record. And also, too, I'm going to say this again. Every time they do a guest appearance outside of No Fear of Time, they show us what No Fear of Time is missing as an album, which is some more of their energy and just some more pure hip hop rap shit from them, which is why people love them to begin with.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. And so, like I just told you when we were having the conversation, though, it's cool to want to be Albert Einstein or Rakim, but those guys went into outer space. But Mike, they bring you back to Earth, and you guys are better when you're back on Earth. Peppers is evidence. Listen to how they sound on there. Tell me you didn't love that shit.
No, I agree. And I mean, and when you listen to Yassine on this album, you listen to him on the JID album, the energy is different. And, you know, I know at least when I heard No Fear of Time initially, I was giving his energy a pass because, you know, he ain't put out an album in like over 10 years now, right? And so I thought that's just where he was lyrically, you know what I'm saying? Like where he was on the mic. But after hearing him on this and hearing him on the JID, I kind of feel a way about the fact that we didn't get that level of energy on No Fear of Time from him specifically, because I can't say that same thing about Talib. You know, Talib sounds very consistent on, you know, on other features, and the No Fear of Time is really Yasin. And so, I didn't see this collaboration coming, and it turned out really, really well.
It's one of the best tracks on this album.
I think it could possibly be a Song of the Year candidate. I mean, it's one of the best.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about him being a curator. Usually a Westside Gunn album gives you about 3 or 4 Song of the Year contenders.
I was just about to say that.
Like, he usually gives you 3 or 4. This album is no different. Peppers, Science Class, BDP, Switches on Everything, Mac Don't Stop, Super Kick Party. These are all great records. And so the biggest drawback to this album is that it doesn't feel like his album. It feels like Westside Gunn, the curator, presents, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like Quincy Jones when he did, what was it? In the
Secret
80s.
Garden album? I know what you're talking
the Secret Garden. The album that has Secret Garden on it.
Back on the Block?
Yeah, Back on the Block. Yeah. The one with Tamia a few years later, Q's Juke Joint, where he's like plugging and playing, but it's masterful. Well, it's a lot of plug and play, but the plug and play is masterful.
There's a couple of songs I not really didn't like, but I was underwhelmed. I was clearly underwhelmed by Red Death. Maybe I expected a lot.
Can I tell you what's wrong with the track?
Yeah.
The track.
Yeah.
The beat.
Yeah.
It's the worst beat on the album.
It is and the fact that they got all of and that was exactly what I was thinking, Coop. I was like, I was listening to it, I'm like, he really got all these people on this track? Why? Who, you know what I'm saying? Like, I doubt everybody was like, yo, man, that's the track we got to get on. Because I have this whole notion about posse cuts, and it could be true or not, right? That beat that comes on and everybody's excited about, that's the posse cut where like, oh, I got to get on that. I got to get on that. I don't feel like this track was worthy of everybody in the Griselda family to jump on and spit their bars on.
Okay, so for as much as we talk about him hitting his mark, we do have to highlight when he misses it. This song is the biggest misstep of this album, because this song done properly could have put this album over the top.
Yeah.
And could have been one of their most special songs. We've talked about like their catalog and their upper echelon Griselda posse cuts, Brutus, George Bondo, 98 Sabres.
Speaking of Brutus, you know who made Mac Don't Stop, right? Well, he said it in the track.
Well, he said it's Pete Rock. Yeah. I kind of assumed it was Pete Rock when he started shouting out Pete Rock on Mac Don't Stop.
Right. Pete Rock, man. The consistency with his beats over the years is incredible.
Pete Rock crazy. Pete Rock's one of the greatest producers of all time. Like, he's a top 10 producer.
Easy. And you know what?
Easy.
He would be higher than that if, for whatever reason, he didn't get... If he would have gotten the placements that a lot of his peers got, I know. I mean, I'm just speculating, just based on his consistency. He would be much higher than that. He's never really failed. You never really hear Pete Rock work with somebody and be like, damn, Pete fucked that one up. You know what I mean? Like,
he's probably like 7 or 8 on the list, but he should probably be 2 or 3.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
I mean, even he worked with Run DMC. Boom, gave him a classic. You know what I mean?
Their last classic.
Throw Corrupt and Inspector Deck on the record. Boom. Great record. That's a classic, too.
That is a prime Corrupt and Inspector Deck.
It is.
Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat. Let me get some of these real quick. My only problem with Griselda is tempo. I was going to say that about this song, too. And we're going to get back on Red Death. Said, too much fish, not enough Daytona 500 or Glaciers of Ice. They need to go a little bit more out of their comfort zone.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with Fish. Fish was by True Master. That's track 9 on Iron Man.
But it could be too slow though. I mean, you know how bad this track was,
no,
Red Death.
This is what I'm.
Even my girl didn't sound good on it. Like Caesar didn't sound. Armani Caesar didn't even sound right on this record. And you got to have a bad track for her not to sound good on the record.
I thought Benny sounded the best, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's a big misstep. And here's the thing about it. There should never be a time that Armani and Conway and Benny and stuff like these level of MCs should never be on a song together and it be on the bottom tier of the strength of songs on your album. Like, we're supposed to be pulling up today and be like, so Mike, what's better, Science Class Peppers or Red Death?
Right.
Like, which one of these songs of the year contenders are we giving song of the year to? Instead, it's like, oh man, Peppers, BDP, switches on everything. The Red Death be like, hold on, pause. That's how you ended the album? And so, big misstep. God is Love is good, but it's not dope, Mike, in my opinion.
Me either. I'm with you on that. I didn't like that one, and I didn't really like Switches on Everything either.
I like Switches on Everything.
I'm not switches really a big.
I think you need. I don't love LP's verse, like, you know what I'm saying, but
I got a confession to make.
Okay.
Not really big on Run the Jewels. I never have been.
Killer Mike killed that shit, Mike. That might be the best verse on the album. Might be Killer Mike's verse.
Is it? I'll go back and
listen.
listen.
No, Mike. Killer Mike got busy on this. He did.
Do y'all rock with Run the Jewels like that out there? I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority here because for whatever, I don't know what it is, man. The record's just, the first album I like, but it was like, their records just don't hit me like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Michael Williams with the Super Chat says, Coop, what do you think of Prince's music from the 90s? Prince, Coop could go on and on about that.
I was about to say, well, I mean, I think Diamonds and Pearls is his last classic album with like what I would call like classic Prince material. Diamonds and Pearls, Cream is on there. So there's stuff on there. It's a mixed bag in the 90s. He's definitely exercising his freedom, but you still get stuff like The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. Some of those late albums like Musicology are really good. He's also was in a different place spiritually. And that's what I mean. He didn't really belong to the machine anymore, Mike. He was just making music because he really enjoyed making music at that point. I don't think when you know that you're the best, Mike, you really he was just in a place of like, well, it's like, well, I don't think anybody's really better than me. So I'm just going to kind of do what I want to do. So I think the music sometimes can reflect that for better or worse. So it's like the focus wasn't there as much, but it didn't need to be.
I hear most Prince fans say Diamonds and Pearls. What would you say to somebody who would say Musicology or something?
As far as what?
Being the last, great.
I enjoy Musicology, Mike, but Diamonds and Pearls is his last, truly, masterful piece of work. Just very much in the same way that I feel like, what's the one, Dangerous?
Yeah.
Dangerous is the last piece of work where it's like, no.
That's
that
Jackson.
Guy.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And not Invincible or History, Mike. History and Invincible are dope, but it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they both have their moments, but yeah.
They have moments. That's what I'm saying. He has moments after Diamonds and Pearls. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
it's just moments.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say, man, people are saying I'm bugging about this Killer Mike verse, so I guess I need to go back and listen. You said that that's probably the best verse on the album?
It might be. It's a contender for it. I've heard the project 2 full times. For those of us that want to talk about Willie the Kid, we're gonna get to Willie on Wednesday.
Yeah, so we can give him the full respect that he needs to because this album's dope.
No, I like Musicology, but I see people talk about Musicology. I love Musicology. Okay, the actual musicianship and songwriting is beautiful. Like Diamonds and Pearls, Cream, Get Off. No, fam, there ain't nothing. Different. No, he got levels.
Diamonds and Pearls alone. That's a beautiful.
That's what I mean. Diamonds and Pearls is one of his best songs, Mike.
It's a beautiful record.
It's a beautiful record, and it's like there's stuff. I think Musicology has like Cinnamon Girl and stuff like that on there, and they're beautiful songs. Like, not Diamonds and Pearls.
Yeah.
It's not Cream. It's not. No, it's not those records.
It's a power ballad. Jay Short says, "Run the Jewels has run its course." Speaking of which, I mean, when's the last Killer Mike album? Like, does Killer Mike even put out like solo efforts anymore, or is it just Run the Jewels projects? Because I think, was Rap Music the last Killer Mike album?
Was it?
I think it might have been, and that came out the same year Life is Good and Good Kid, Mad City came out.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I mean,
do we need a Killer Mike album? I mean, I'm gonna ask you, like, because I feel like Killer Mike's had an interesting career in the sense where I think that, first off, I want to say this. I think that he caught Outkast at a bad time. He caught the Dungeon Family at a bad time. He caught them at a time where they were experimenting, and on some funked out shit, which was working for them. But I feel like if he would have been around the Dungeon Family in 97, 98, that would have worked out a lot better for him, right?
Right.
So I think we got that going on. And then people kind of caught on to Killer Mike a little late, really, maybe like 10 years into his career. And then after Rap Music and the Run the Jewels project, he catapulted to just basically being a household name. And I think, is he mostly known for being a Run the Jewels member in the mainstream, would you say?
Yes. Yes.
So he does need, do you think he needs a solo effort, or is he just a, Run the Jewels, half a Run the Jewels or something?
How old is Killer Mike now? That's what I'm saying. This is like, you want him to embark on his solo career again at what age?
Right.
Probably not. I'm just speaking to you like, I'm speaking to you like a grown man. Like, this is more that get off my lawn conversation. It's like, you want this 40-something-year-old dude to start his solo career again when he's been on this successful crossover melting pot run
without having to make any solo efforts
for a decade now.
Yeah,
probably
so
not.
We're probably not gonna get a solo Killer Mike album.
This is another one of those business acumen things again, Mike, where it's like, why would he do that? Because also, too, I want you to understand this. Well, he got to go start paying other guys again, too.
Yeah.
To put an album together.
Yeah.
Yes, he Run the Jewels. He has a nice little situation worked out with LP financially, too, Mike. That's what I was trying to talk about with the Nas thing and with the Griselda thing. Independent artists, people who have to spend their money, Cormega, AZ. Like, how about this? Don't you think that an independent artist like Cormega or AZ would like to put out 4 projects in 26 months?
Right.
Like Nas just did? That's that money talking.
Yeah. And freedom.
Those guys got plenty of ammo in the hammer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even with Killer Mike and LP, I think LP produced the whole Rap Music album. And that was, like I said, that was the year Good Kid, Mad City, and that just celebrated 10 years. So, in the 10-year period, they put together 4 albums together, because there's 3 Run the Jewels albums, and you got Rap Music, right?
There's 4
Nas is about to do 4 in 26 months. Nas and Hit Boy.
Right.
To put that in perspective. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, Killer Mike has said in songs that he won't do a solo album anymore, or only will with beats by LP, which is just Run the Jewels anyway.
See?
Yeah.
It's another Run the Jewels album. That's what I'm saying. He's in a comfortable little space.
Well, it makes sense. But let's just say hypothetically, though, he said, you know what? We'll do a solo album. That's going to be an adjustment because the past 10 years, he's been rhyming over nothing but, LP beats for the most part, other than features. Like you said, now you got to go out, get production, go through that process. Listen, nobody want to go through all that.
That's what I'm saying. Or you can call the dude up he's been working with for the past decade and be like, yo, send me a 20-pack so we can start working on the next joint. Oh, yep.
Right, exactly.
Because it benefits the producer that you're in this venture with, too. Right.
Jay Short says, LP is the Pete Rock of the 2000s. We don't need bars. I think he did his thing on cheat codes, but I feel you.
He has his moments.
Yeah.
But there are. How about this? There aren't enough solo Killer Mike records on these Run the Jewels projects, and that's the problem with these Run the Jewels projects. If you really want to know the truth.
Now I'm not gonna lie to you. That Run the Jewels 3, right after the Rashad Brooks thing went down in Atlanta or whatever.
In the snow and all that.
Yeah, like Killer Mike was going for it.
No, he was rapping his ass off.
Yeah.
But were there any solo records on there?
No.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
I want you to look at it like this. Oh, Havoc may do a verse if he has to. You know what I'm saying? But when Prodigy's on fire, Prodigy's going to rock.
Yeah. I think that's part of their group dynamic, or was part of their group dynamic, was the fact that Havoc knew, like, look, I'm in the group. We started off as a duo, but at any point I could fall back, just make a track, and he can handle the whole thing. You know, I wish, you know what, man, we saw that a few times in Outkast or whatever when Big Boy would do West Savannah, but we never saw that with 3000, you know, and we've seen that in pretty much every duo. We knew that Pimp C could go out there and hold down a song by himself. 8 Ball did Mr. Big. You know what I mean? Yeah. You had Fife doing Butter. You had, Q-Tip doing Bonita. It's like we never got that with Cass. The closest we got to that was West Savannah. Well, I don't want to say the closest. The only time we got that was West Savannah. Because even when there were songs where Dre wasn't on them, where they seemed like more Big Boy-centric songs like Slump or Snapping and Trapping on Stankonia, Big Boy still had other people on them. You know what I mean? And I feel like for Big Boy's solo career, at least early on, it felt like he was very dependent on the possibility of another person coming in rhyming. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the drawbacks for him specifically on Speakerbox. Because I feel like if he would have held that album down alone, for the most part, the separation wouldn't be so Big Boy, Andre 3000. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that was a valuable lesson learned for him.
Because he handled it like it was a group effort still. Right.
But valuable lesson learned.
Yeah, and Dre handled it like, no, it's just me. You can get on a song. We got Nora Jones on something. We'll throw Khalees on something. But, yeah, I just think the Speakerbox, it was Big Boy having fun. And Killer Mike was a big part of it, too. Yeah, he should have just held down more records on his own. Because he could do it. And he sounds great by himself. I mean, the way you move is a hit.
Speakerbox is too long.
And what else about Speakerbox? Because I could critique Speakerbox as well.
It's too long, and this is what I mean. While the other artist is finding himself as an artist, Big Boy should have been spending the time to find himself as an artist too. Because I think, you remember Bowtie?
Yeah.
There should have been more of that. He was perfectly fine on that record by himself with Sleepy on that track. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was a whole thing. And I feel like he kind of stayed in that vein afterwards, which was good. But he could have crafted that album a little differently, in my opinion.
I think it was, you hit the nail on the head, and something I've always said about Speakerbox is I don't think that he took the adequate amount of time to make sure it was perfected. I think it felt like he was kind of just trying to get it done because people were asking for it. I remember when, I think he had Big Boy, I'm sorry, not he had Big Boy. Big Boy brought Killer Mike on the 106 in Park because they were promoting Killer Mike's album Monster. And, of course, they was asking about the Outkast stuff. And I'll never forget this. Big Boy said, I'm done with my part. We just waiting on Dre. And so, it
was also that, too. I believe there was also another conversation that got had where it was like, he was literally waiting for Dre to come finish like 4, 5, or 6 songs, though, Mike.
Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Right, like some of those songs that we're hearing, he's looking at like we're putting together an Outkast record together after Stankonia, like our next level. That's what I mean. Some of that stuff was supposed to be like the next futuristic Outkast stuff, not Big Boy's solo stuff, and the album sounds a little bit like that.
You're right. Because
It sounds
I think
like Dre
Ghetto
left
Music,
him hanging on some records.
I think Ghetto Music's one of those examples.
There
Possibly
we go.
Church.
Even though I like the record.
Because you're right. It's like there's some futuristic stuff on there, and it's some, like you said, the bow tie, the way you move stuff on there, and then it's some, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever's popping right now stuff on there too. Because the song with Lil Jon and you know what I'm saying, like my guy from PA, it just didn't mesh, and it didn't really flow like a normal, like the
even
standard
the
of an
joint with Jay and
Outkast
Killer
album.
Mike, like the joint with Jay and Killer Mike.
I actually love that record though, but
You
it
can
doesn't.
keep it though, Mike.
fit.
Where does it fit? How does
It
that fit on Big Boy's first real solo project? You feel what I'm saying?
You're right.
It's a reach, and it's not a good one.
From the production standpoint, I thought that was one of the strongest beats on there though.
Beat wise, on some rap shit, yeah. But how about this? That's one of those records that you drop a la Royal Flush, but never put on your album.
Because Big Boy killed it too. I'll say this, and I think Killer Mike killed it too. But I think Big Boy should have left Killer Mike off of this one, and it should have just been him and Jay if they were gonna do that. You know what I mean?
It just doesn't fit. Like go. How about this? This is what I mean. Is like you got bow tie, Ghetto Music, and the way you move on there, and then something like this. It's like, what album are you making?
You're right. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, on the show Ozark on Netflix, one episode Illmatic played the whole show because the main character played it in the headphones with the Killer Mike scene. Yeah, Killer Mike did start that episode. That episode was great. Let's see.
That was great.
Darren Harris with the super chat says, just out of curiosity, where do y'all have The Realness 2 this year? It's trending top 5 for me, but I haven't heard you guys say much about it other than the Nas feature. Albums being underrated. What do you think about The Realness 2?
I really enjoyed it. You want to know what I was actually thinking as that was coming in? Maybe Wednesday we should make Wednesday like an Underground Kings kind of review show.
I think we should do that.
Where we because I know we talked about the Cormega, but we didn't really rate it. So let's kind of maybe Wednesday we can talk Willie the Kid and rate his album, but also go back and give some of these albums an appropriate rating from some lesser known artists who are really dope. You know what I mean? That are representing independency and the underground the right way. Like what do you think about going and circling back around on Currency and Alchemist's Continuance?
I think we should do that. I think it's that time of year we should do that.
How about going back and checking out maybe I know Billy Woods, we circled around. I know you weren't a big fan of it. Maybe we need to circle back around on that. The Czarface, Mike.
Yeah.
The Paul Wall and Terminology.
You're right. Yeah, we need to circle back on these efforts because
we never reviewed Earl Sweatshirt's project Sick.
Okay. Yeah.
You feel me?
That should be Wednesday's assignment. And any other ones you guys think that we're missing out on, let us know. What I was going to say is I think next Friday, 21 Savage and Drake are dropping their effort, which was supposed to drop this week. And I feel like something else is dropping. So, yeah, that'd be good to kind of pick those up on Wednesday so that they don't just get left further and further behind.
Yeah, let's review Willie the Kid, and then let's cover 4 other projects, and let's see how they sound to us today. Because we've rated all of these albums. I think we really need to rate the Earl Sweatshirt Sick because we didn't rate that at all, and so we can rate that, and then we can pick maybe 3 other albums. You know what I mean? For the Underground Kings.
Okay.
We gave Your Old Droog a 4.1. Maybe we should go listen again.
Okay, I think we should. Michael Williams with the super chat says, what are your predictions for KD3 in terms of sonics? Do you think it's going to be more in the vein of KD2 or Magic? I prefer the darker, gritty sound. I think it's going to be a mixture of both. That's my prediction. I think that they see the response from Magic from the core fans, but they understand from a commercial standpoint what KD2 was able to bring them sonically. Eric Terrell says Unhappy was fire. Big Boy did his thing. I think Unhappy is one of the stronger songs on that album. I think Unhappy and Knowing, for me personally.
Unhappy was great.
Yeah, and I wanted more of Knowing.
See, that's a Big Boy solo album song. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unhappy, that's the guy that's really the author of Miss Jackson, Mike.
Right. What's the name of the song with CeeLo and Cujo? Reset. I see. I'm cool with that album closing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if a Big Boy album closes with Reset, those are features that you could do. What did you think about Boom on the Tune album song with Luda and all of them?
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
It fit. It goes. Yeah, it goes.
Jay Short says, nah, for real. I like Killer Mike and Run the Jewels. It just makes an awkward listen when the gap between the MCs is so wide. I think Killer Mike is a borderline Hall of Famer. It is hard, man, when the gap is wide in those terms. And like you said, what kind of helps in those situations is if you do get solo songs on those albums.
Yeah, see, like, because here's the thing that, and you brought this up. You're like, what's Killer? We say this about Andre, okay? Where's his classic 3-verse and a hook song by himself?
Yeah, because Adidas got Big Boy on it.
Correct, and that's probably still his best record to this day.
Radio-wise, I would say single, yeah. My favorite Killer Mike song is Niggas in the South, I think. I think that's the name of it. Niggas in the South Stack Cheese, man. It was on a mixtape, but he had 2 verses on there, but I understand what you're saying. Like,
well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so
record.
Let's stack that up against, let's see,
right.
Lauryn Hill's Lost Ones, Raekwon on Incarcerated Scarfaces, Prodigy on Quiet Storm.
You're right.
Where's the moment that we know it's like, no, this guy's like...
I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be funny. I think sometimes when we have a Southern MC...
Common Sense on I Used to Love Her.
Yeah. I think sometimes when we have a Southern MC who could put words together, well, we overrate them. It's like you're good for a Southern rapper. You know what I mean?
T.I. on What You Know.
Yeah.
Scarface, Never Seen a Man Die. Like, let's keep it Southern. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like, we can keep it to the Southern MCs, you know?
Yeah. I think he's is it fair to say he's maybe his era of a Bun B, maybe? As far as like solo tip, because we know what he does when he jumps on a record.
Yeah, but I mean, Bun B made a really... Trill is dope, man.
Yeah. Bun B got a 5-mic album in the Source.
I mean, it's better than anything Killer Mike's done as a solo artist.
Facts. Jason with the super chat says...
And I'm sorry, Bun's just a better MC than Killer Mike to me. And his guest appearances are better, and his solo catalog is better. So,
I think he is, too.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Jason says, great verses last Monday. Well played by both. Rooting for Coop with Ray. Which is better? 98 Posse cut? Which is the better 98 Posse cut? Done Started Something. Or Reservoir Dogs. I love Done Started Something. Niggas done started something.
I'm actually taking Reservoir Dogs.
Not mad at that, but I think I like the tone of Niggas Done Started Something. I love how DMX ended it. I love the surprise at the moment of having Mace on a record that we didn't think Mace would be on. You know what I'm saying?
now, here's what I will give you about Niggas Done Started Something. I mean, Freddie Gibbs just quoted Cheek's Start Off on Space Rabbit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the record has obviously stayed. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the way he set it off, man.
You want to know to the Patreon right quick? Hold on, let me finish the Patreon comment though. It's like, well, Mike, if you look at it, it's like, well, you're 4-1, but it's like you should have been the favorite 4 of those times. The one time I was the favorite, I won. Now, here's what I would tell you. this situation that we have going on Monday is what I would call our first draw situation, because I think I got all the ancillary material, but I think you have the catalog material.
I think you have the advantage with records like Cream, Incarcerated Scarfaces. I mean, it's going to be very tough. I got a strategy, but I don't want to.
That's like saying Just Blaze has an advantage because he has You Don't Know and PSA. You feel me? It's
but
like,
that doesn't
having those
count.
Two records doesn't determine the other.
That doesn't count when you talk about Havoc when you got Shook Ones Part 2 or something. Like, come on.
Quiet Storm. No, understood.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "What's Lil Jon's legacy in ATL?" I can speak for me, and maybe because I came up in a certain era. To me, Lil Jon's legacy is being a DJ, and the A&R of So Def, the guy who put together those So Def based All-Star projects.
Naboo.
And the Shawty Freak a Little Something and stuff like that. Like when he dropped Kings of Crunk, he kind of belonged to everybody else. It was kind of a middle row. I remember, man, I was riding around with them when they dropped Kings of Crunk. And see, I got a little story here. I didn't work at the record store. I was at the radio station, and they was doing promo. They were still local with it because they were on TBT. And yeah, we were riding around with Lil Jon and them the whole day. They went to Greenbrier Mall and was doing autographs and stuff. So we was up in there. And yeah, man, the album blew up. The album blew up really off of Get Low. Yeah. Which wasn't even, I want to say at the time, might have been the third or fourth single, because I Don't Give a Fuck was the first one.
But crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I love that song to this day.
That's a great record. And I feel like the song with Fat Joe and Trick Daddy might have been second. Play No Games.
Right.
Yeah, and then when Get Low came out, that's when the rest of the world got on, and then Dave Chappelle started doing the sketches and stuff, and then Lil Jon was out of here.
I mean, Protect Your Neck and Method Man had a New York buzz. Cream is when it started rising to the top, Mike.
It happened so fast. It happened so fast, and to kind of answer that question, I mean, if I already didn't, the local Lil Jon is kind of what his legacy is in the city, because that's when we saw him the most. After Get Low and all that went, he was out of here. We didn't see Lil Jon. I didn't see Lil Jon anymore. I didn't.
What?
I didn't. I remember when they did that. You remember? I think it was MTV did that XXL cover of like Great Day in Harlem over, but MTV was like Great Day in Atlanta, and they had like all of the people that were popping in Atlanta at the time. And somebody was like, "Where Lil Jon at?" And T.I. was like, "He out here getting their money somewhere." Lil Jon was gone.
Okay.
He was out of here. 36 Shames with the super chat says, "Your Old Drawers has released several high quality projects this year. Very consistent." Well, I guess we might need to do a whole segment on him on Wednesday. Mike H says, "Go ahead."
Man,
it's just so much music, man.
All right, so much music. I'm just going to put it.
Mike H says, "Can't believe Nas is about to add about 15 great to classic tracks to that catalog. Do you think this is it for Nas? And if so, what is Nas' next move, music-wise? He seems to be doing a lot of things culturally and getting behind a lot of documentaries and this hip-hop Hall of Fame or museum or whatnot. Do I think this is it for Nas and Hit Boy? I think so for a second. I don't think we're going to get something next year or something.
How about this? I think I would say hiatus. And this is what I mean. Like, I don't think the people have to understand the power of the people. People often don't understand their power. I think we are going to have a lot to do with whether there is a KD4. You feel me?
I agree with that. I think if it's very successful and it gets the attention and adoration that it needs to get, and this run gets that attention as well, yeah, we probably will get a KD4.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's what I will tell you that I'm fairly certain of. Well, we're probably not getting a KD4 in 2023 because if this album is successful like it needs to be, it's going to burn in the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So there's not going to be a need for KD4 next year, but the people have to understand their power and necessitate the need for this pretty glorious run to continue.
What we're not talking about is the possibility of a Magic 2. How about that?
No. Source talk again, Mike. That won't be happening.
No. It's a one-time deal, huh?
He literally made an album for the fans that said they wanted to hear some Illmatic type shit, and then they did some Illmatic shit and did not fucking Ready to Die in Doggy Style, this motherfucker. And that's where we are.
End
of story. This is how we got It Was Written. Like, part of what happened with Magic when I talked to the source is what got me hyped about KD3. I was like, it's the Illmatic shit again. But we got It Was Written after Illmatic.
That's facts. Solution says, I am planning a show on KD3 on the 15th. Please, can I quote you guys? Sure. What kind of show?
Hold on. It's better than people just stealing our shit like they've been doing the last 2 years. That's for sure. At least you're asking. We appreciate that.
Solution.
Who run Apple Music, Mike? Who run Apple Music?
Ebro, I thought Ebro was...
Okay, so now that we've gotten to the bottom of this, I believe that Till It's Almost Dry, Apple Music released a separated version literally a few days after I said that they need to separate the producer's version. And so he would be the person that would run through. I would like to think, especially a artist the caliber of Pusha T.
I kind of believe, I could be wrong. I believe that Ebro and Rosenberg listens to our show. Either one of the two. I don't know.
I believe,
or somebody in there.
No, he owes me. I'm not even being funny. I don't care like how many of your favorite rappers like him. Don't be pulling up in here stealing my shit, Ebro. Like, for real. Like, next time, get your own fucking ideas and do the work. That's how you got there. Because if you just gonna take my shit, maybe I need to be running Apple Music's playlist. Stop stealing my shit. Let's go, Mike.
Yo, I was gonna say, man, they've been.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, Mike.
They've been interviewing. I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, but DaBaby has been getting interviews on Hot 97 now, and he was on Flex Show freestyling, and I truly feel like, since Ye is going through all of these blackballing things publicly, I think that they want to make a gesture on a mainstream level to kind of unblackball DaBaby and welcome him everywhere. I thought the timing was weird. I did. Like, so now y'all want to bring DaBaby on for an interview when his album came out, what was that, 3 weeks ago? So you're telling me that his people didn't reach out to you guys for an interview when his album was about to come out. So magically he's able to do interviews 3 or 4 weeks after the album came out. It's very weird.
People think we be tripping.
Very weird. Mad Max is
People think we be tripping. You know that, Mike. People think be like, yo, they going like,
y'all
going too far. It's like, no, it's very convenient how it's happening, though.
Whether people agree with Ye or not, whatever, that's something else. But to see how he's been done this past 2 weeks lets you know that this stuff is real. If you didn't believe then, you should believe now. And if you don't believe now, you're just in denial.
Or you're just stuck in your personal feelings about the man.
Well, yeah.
The unfolding of this is going to be the unfolding and revealing of this is not done.
No, like, we're not still evolving. Yeah.
Oh, right. Like this is one of those moments that we're not even going to realize how big it is until it's like 5 to 10 years later. And like, yo, like, did you like see that, right?
I guess my thing is, man, what do people think is going to happen? They think Ye is going to be out on the streets begging for change. They want to see Ye in the airport somewhere playing a flute, looking crazy, huh? Maybe that'd be admirable. It's not going to happen. Mad Max with the super chat says, I heard the Gorilla Lion Hyena record, and Coop, I'm going to need you to admit Mace is a better lyricist than Cam because he got the better verse.
I won't do it. Cameron's made albums.
I can't do that either, Mad Max. I can't do that.
We don't know because even on what Harlem World,
Harlem World turns 25 today, by the way.
Like his bar repertoire isn't like some sort of stellar masterpiece that we go back and reference on Harlem World. You feel me?
No, you're right. And it was the hottest album of that quarter, I would say. The hottest album of that year was either Life After Death or Puffy's album.
Life After Death.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's the best, but we can't front, man. Puffy's album was big.
Because of Big.
It was big, though. It was big.
Because of Big.
You had to be there to understand.
Hold on, the hook on Been Around the World is who?
That's Biggie, yeah.
Who ends All About the Benjamins?
Biggie. I feel you. I feel you. I'm not saying I feel you. I'm not saying who the MVP of the year was. That's clearly Biggie. But if we talk about which album,
I'm wearing a Biggie shirt, Mike. You're not about to do that today.
No Way Out was a big ass album, and maybe
not about to do that.
And maybe it's unfair to Biggie to say that because Biggie wasn't here to actually reap the adulation of Life After Death in the way that Puff was. Puff was everywhere in '97. The people who were the face of hip hop in '97 was Puff, Mace, Wyclef, and Master P. It's what it was.
Big died on March 9th.
No, I feel you. If Big was alive, he obviously would have been everywhere too. But I'm just saying.
He was everywhere.
Yeah. But I'm saying for the whole year. He died the first 3 months of the year.
I won't talk like that with my Biggie shirt.
I feel you. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, Coop, why you left out Life in the Fast Lane face at this best in at his best and Scarface the song that gave him his name? Those were points. Yeah. But you don't like Mr. Scarface is Back like that.
What, the album?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here was the thing. I had to make a choice about the Mr. Scarface is Back stuff. I feel like playing those records is like setting you up to play more America's Most in NWA, which are better records. You feel me?
Gotcha.
Because it's like, think about it. Like, well, Cube's best stuff is actually made right in that pocket of that album. And I was like, well, if he plays the Cube records from around that time and I start playing these records, he's got better records. Because you didn't play some America's Most Cube records that you could have played.
I didn't.
You and I know that.
I didn't.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what
I didn't play Who's the Man.
My whole thought process was like, I already know I'm dealing with Death Certificate. I already know I'm dealing with Straight Outta Compton. Me playing those early Scarface stuff, it's like, well, how much of America's Most do I want to deal with too? Because I already knew I was getting the Straight Outta Compton and Death Certificate stuff. Like, I already knew that.
I have no idea what I'm going to open with Ghostface. I have an idea what I want to close with.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I can't even lie. You want to know what? I got some first world problems with Ray because I need to pick the stuff that really stuck with the bulk of the people and not just the stuff that I like. Like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you some insight into something. It's like, I love Sneakers by Pete Rock on Immobilarity. Nobody ever talks about the record.
No, nobody talks about that record. Immobilarity.
You feel what I'm saying? It's one of Ray's best songs, and I'm like, nobody ever talks about Sneakers. It's like, is that the head in me that just loves the fact that Ray and like who's a fashion dude and Pete Rock, who's like a hardcore hip hop dude, like and Ray's like, got that voice. It's like, am I just too in love with that parent and in love with that song, or is that song really that? Those are the struggles that I'm having. You feel what I'm saying?
Immobilarity gets the Dogfather treatment.
It does.
And
people act like nothing on there was good at all.
I mean,
people act like nothing on there was good at all. Live from New York is on there. Sneakers is on there.
It's because the albums before them are just so grand. Greatest albums. I mean, I would have to say Doggy Style and then Dogfather. That's the biggest drop off from one album to the next. Then I would say Only Built for Cuban Links and Immobilarity.
But this is the thing about it. You do understand you just named two of the 5 greatest rap albums.
Well, that's what makes the drop so big.
Two of the greatest 5 rap albums ever made. What type? Like, there's going to like Mike. There's a drop from Illmatic to It Was Written.
But it ain't that drastic.
Oh no! Let's say it was written. It was written as a classic.
That's what I'm saying. So usually,
classic.
Usually, when a person makes something that's that high level, the next one's gonna be a drop off, but not that far off. Like I think that a lot of people would say that the Dogfather is probably the biggest sophomore jinx in hip hop.
Kane's second album.
Nah.
No, it's a Dogfather.
Michael Williams with the super chat says, rank these songs from best to worst. Shootouts, Live Nigga Rap, Taken in Blood, Suspect, and Silent Murder.
Hold on, say that.
I have to be honest.
Where's that super chat? At? I'm gonna have to look at those songs.
Michael Williams is probably up. I'm behind. It's Shootouts, Live Nigga Rap, Taken in Blood, Suspect, and Silent Murder.
Okay.
He said he has Taken in Blood #1, but after that he struggles.
So I'll tell you this, and Mike and I have had this conversation. Well, it's between Taken in Blood and Silent Murder, first of all.
Yeah, it's Silent Murder for me.
It's Taken in Blood for me because of the third verse.
Okay.
I feel like the third verse on Taken in Blood is superior to the third verse on Silent Murder. After that, I'm going Silent Murder. After that, I'm going Live Nigga Rap. After that, I'm going Shootouts. After that, I'm going Suspect. So I would go Taken in Blood, Silent Murder, Live Nigga Rap, Shootouts, and Suspect. I think Suspect is the weakest song on It Was Written after Watch Them Niggas, Black Girl Lost, and Nas Is Coming. Like, Suspect would be that song. That's how great It Was Written is. That's a bottom 4 song.
Okay, yeah.
Suspect's one of the weaker songs on It Was Written.
I got Silent Murder, Live Nigga Rap, Taken in Blood, Shootouts, and Suspect. That's what.
Can I ask you something? Why don't you? What is it? You don't revere Taken in Blood like other people do. What is it? You don't love the beat. It's the beat. You don't love the beat. Just say it.
Yeah, I think it's the beat for me.
You don't love the beat because I mean, Mike, lyrically on that album, like
you guys hold Taken in Blood super high.
Mike has a lyricist on a lyrical level. This is what I'm saying. People keep forgetting this. I Gave You Power is a concept record. Rewind is a concept record. Mike, just the MC. The lyrical bar work on Taken in Blood might be his finest mic performance, just like as a lyricist, like with no concept being involved.
Right.
Like, it's like that. Those 3 verses are as good of a 3 lyrical rap verse that you'll find period, point blank, like in the history of rap in concurrence.
And you know what I say that 96 Nas is probably the greatest, just pure lyricist, outside of just his catalog and everything else.
The pure lyricism that you're talking about,
yeah.
like Taken in Blood is the best evidence. Like, people keep forgetting, like, It Was Written is full of concepts, shootouts, the setup, the message, watch them niggas, I Gave You Power. But the few times he just rap Mike on some rap shit, which is what Taken in Blood is, it's just like, oh, well, fuck, that's the best just like rap you're gonna find. Like, lyrically speaking, I never brag how real I keep it, because it's the best secret. I rock a vest, prestigious, Cuban link flooded Jesus. In the Lex watching Kathy Lee and Regis. My actions are one with the season. A text squeezing, executioner. Wintertime I rock a fur, mega popular. Center of attraction, climaxing. My bitches, they be laughing. Like how I'm sniffing coke off of 20 shit. Andrew Jackson. City night, sparking New York night. Rossi and Martini sipping. Sergio to shit. He's just rapping his ass off, Mike. He's just rapping. It's masterful. It's like, oh, this nigga just raps like this?
Easy. Darren Harris with the super chat says, Nas is becoming the Martin Scorsese of hip-hop docs. I really love that Supreme documentary too. And I know a lot of y'all were telling us to check it out for weeks and weeks. And I finally kind of got around to it. I loved it. I think they did a great job. I know 50 Cent was speaking on, that documentary. And I guess that's when he was talking about his respect for Nas. And he feels like his whole interest in the subject was, I guess from a faith-based level. And saying all that to say, sounds like he doesn't feel a way about Nas doing it. He didn't feel like it was a shot at him. But thing is, man, like, that's Queen's history, and it's like whatever conflict that a person has over here, it's not like you can't tell a person's story. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, where would the actual conflict reside? You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right.
Jason with the super chat says, what is that one hip hop album for both of y'all that you put on in front to back? You feel that music like no other. For me, it's Dark and Hell is Hot. I played this album that I'm about to say the other day, and I don't want to say something easy, but I didn't realize, well, I've always realized how much this album means to me, but I start pulling out how much it really means to me. I love Method Man and Redman's Blackout album. That album really taught me how to rhyme, and it was just about rhyming. It wasn't about any subject matter. It was the chemistry that these two guys had together, going back and forth. I will always know every single word from that album, and I named that album because that's one of those albums that nobody around me felt like that about. It's like, so I'm like really alone in this one, and even in the duo I was in, it made me think. I was like, this is what actually made me have the idea to jump in a duo, the way these guys were able to bounce off of each other. I love Blackout. Front to back for me, man. If I put that joint on right now, I'm not skipping anything. But that's just me.
That's fascinating. I have two choices, and I think it's just like impact. I told you the first rap album that I ever heard from beginning to end was The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick.
Yeah.
So I'm super fortunate in that regard. You feel what I'm saying? Like when that's one of the first rap albums that you get to listen to from beginning to end, you're fortunate. Like that's one of those things I didn't understand the first time I hold the record, but now at 41 years old, it's like, oh, cuz like the dude who made these paintings, Six's older brother, like him playing that album. So that's probably the album that I feel like no other because it's the first one that I heard from beginning to end. So every time I hear it, I'm with my two older cousins riding around in Lithonia in the Bronco. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm there every time those songs come on when cuz is going to pick up his check from the pizza spot, you know? But on a personal level, on some rap shit, Mike, like on what you talking about, oh, it's Liquid Swords by The Genius. It's Liquid Swords for me.
I think Blackout hit me at the perfect time. Like this was like my senior year, you know what I mean? Like it's those things really matter when an album comes out in your life and where you're at in your life and what you're going through. And I also think that the fact that How High, the actual song that came out years before it, that song changed me too. And I think from that moment, I was just looking forward to the time when they would actually do an album together. I personally believe, just from a, technical standpoint, if Redman and Method Man would have dropped an album in '96, it would have been a much better album. But even with that being said, I love Blackout. And listen, and I remember when I heard it first, I was like, man, they don't sound like '96 Meth and Red, but I still like this. But now I don't even care about that.
No, I feel you. Part of the thing with Liquid Swords, I'm gonna tell you what happened. The first two tapes, Mike, the first two tapes that I bought with my own money were Liquid Swords and Do or Die by AZ.
Very now, lyrical purchases.
No, my taste has always been impeccable, Mike. But and as great as Do or Die is, and Do or Die is a classic, it's not Liquid Swords. And I can remember, and you have to understand, Liquid Swords was that first tape that I had access to that I could play it at my will. Like I didn't have to go borrow my cousin's tapes, steal my cousin's tapes, sneak in their rooms, ask them if I could hold their shit. That was my tape. But Mike, the soundscapes on there, the way that he was rhyming, I heard the writer that I could be on that album. Like when he was picture bloodbaths and elevator shafts, when he was saying stuff like that. Herbal vapors and biblical paper, smoking Exodus. When he was saying stuff like that, I was like, that's the writer in hip hop that I want to be. And then there was just the stuff that just blew your mind. Like, you remember the first time you heard the Beats to Fourth Chamber and Shadowboxing and Killer Hills 10304, like in succession. When I heard those three beats in succession, like Killer Hills 10304 is the greatest rap story ever that nobody talks about.
Shadowboxing blew my mind. That was one of those.
Shadowboxing might be, Mike, you want to know what? When we have these greatest beats ever conversation, that beat's in the conversation.
Yeah. You remember when Napster first jumped off and me and my friends, man, what we used to try to do, we used to try to find instrumentals to download. Shadowboxing was on that list. It was Shadowboxing, Incarcerated Scarfaces, Cream. Damn, it was a whole bunch of
Mike, Living in the World Today is one of those beats
Shook
to me.
ones.
Mike, I heard Living in the World Today on mixtapes. Other cats were taking that beat. Living in the World Today, that's one of my favorite rap songs, Mike. That shit, the shit that Jizza and Meth is doing on the hook, that's that corner shit, Mike. where they're just doing the back and forth. Well, what you know about MC? And yo, I know a lot. Well, can you tell me straight something, nigga? I'd rather not. You talking about stats, because nigga, that's what I got. Well, cash rules the world, and cash rules the spot. My preliminary attack with cemeteries packed. But niggas who think it ain't like that. It's like, oh, that's how you coming in on the second verse?
That's how you rhyme. Unknown name with the super chat says, don't skip Ray's last album, The Wild. Bunch of hidden jewels on there. The Wild was dope.
Mike loves The Wild more than I do, actually. You like The Wild more than I do. Mm-hmm.
Man, Ray got a whole bunch of shit to play, man. I'm really frightened with this
one. No, it's Ghost, so I'm not going to be playing anything from The Wild. I want to win. Nothing against The Wild. I'm trying to win.
Jay Short says, any regard for the 12 Reasons to Die project?
What? That the Ghost joint?
Mm-hmm. I like those, actually.
I like those. I like Killer Seasons. And
I did like 36 Seasons.
Yeah, 36 Seasons. Yeah.
You know what?
That's one of the last CDs I bought, Mike.
Those albums flow well together, but standout songs that I would be able to play, it would be kind of tricky. 36 Chambers says Blackout is nice. Whole album, good start to finish. I mean, this is the thing about Blackout. You kind of got to be a rhymer or appreciator of rhyming to love it. Everybody loves the Rockwilder on that album. That's the only song I skip on that album. I'm listening to that album for the chemistry that Meth and Red have. Like, Meth comes in on 1212 like, my lyrics is AWOL, batter up, play ball, fuck y'all analog niggas, we be digital, subliminal command from the 5-star general, attacking from the blind side. And then Red comes in there, invisible, to the naked eye, with the criminals. Better have your 8 essential vitamins and minerals when Woo was coming through, you know the outcome. Critical, conditioning, the physical for injuring the officer and gentleman who stack proper Benjamins. They're rapping like this the whole album. It's like a tutorial or something.
I will tell you this. And you're right. How about this? For me, and I don't know how you feel about like collaboration but for me, like as far as collaborations goes, there's Life's a Bitch and How High, and then there's the rest of the collaborations.
How High is crazy, man.
That's what I'm saying. How High is Life's a Bitch level to me. So I feel you on that. Like, and people have to understand, like,
How High was 95. I think I said 96. I'm at 95.
They were, but both of you, like, you had never heard two guys of that caliber outside from different camps come together and make a record like that.
It sound like they're supposed to be together. Like,
it sounded like they were the group. It's like, okay, so he's not in Def Squad and he's not in Wu-Tang anymore. Yeah. Is this what's going on? It's like, what's going on? It's like, because after you heard How High, it's like, I want an album of that.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And it was so effortless, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's
they
very...
just played off each other so well.
They do. And I think people who don't know any better, they would think that these guys started together or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, the chemistry that they had.
To the same label.
And the fact that their names are Method Man and Red Man for two totally different reasons. Like, it just happened like that. Like, they didn't plan this.
Mike,
they found
we were talking
other.
about the KD release date, and I tell you that some things, when I said it was written, and I'm not talking about the album, like some things are supposed to happen because it was written. Redman and Method Man, Def Jam, How High. It was written, Mike.
It's supposed to happen that way.
It's supposed to happen. Yeah. Some things are supposed to happen. Redman and Method Man finding their way to Def Jam and finding their way to kick off the show soundtrack. No, that's supposed to happen.
That's literally the first song they made together, right?
Yes.
Impeccable
first time in the studio together.
Off top, like.
Off top.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, because even with the Life's a Bitch thing, that's a different thing because it's like two dope MCs on a track that fits both of them. This How High thing is like, these guys are making this together and the chemistry is undeniable and they never made a record together. It's insane.
It's insane. It's one of rap's best songs.
Chemistry wise. And I think that once again, when I look at the magic of Method Man and Redman, it's the chemistry that they have and still being able to be outstanding individual MCs. Like, we already know that they're stellar solo MCs, but the chemistry that they're able to have when they come together, I hate to say it like this, and I know the Dumb and Down's going to think I'm picking a fight. But those are the things that we wished for Black Star because we knew how individually great they were. We never really saw, we see stints of their chemistry, and I'm not going to knock them for that because I don't even, on the mic, I don't think there's many people that have the chemistry that people like Redman and Method Man or Ghost and Ray or Styles and Jada have. That's just different.
You just went 1, 2, 3, Mike.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, those guys, and even Run DMC, like, the level of chemistry that the two MCs have in a duo like that, like, a lot of duos, and no knock to it, they're kind of just taking turns on the mic. They're waiting on their turn on the mic. Outkast's chemistry is a chemistry of adjustments to each other's taste. But when it comes to the back and forth, we didn't get a lot of that with Cass. We just didn't. 36 Chambers says Enter the Wu-Tang has no skips front to back. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Mad Max says, a song I love that nobody talks about, and I feel for you by AZ. Beat and the lyrics.
Track 6 on Do or Die.
Yeah. Beat and the lyrics to me is classic. And his serene intro is stupid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do or Die is a classic. Like, Do or Die doesn't have a skip, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, Give Me Yours, Ho Happy Jackie, Rather Unique, Uncut Raw, Sugar Hill.
I was listening to Sugar Hill the other day. It just randomly came on. I'm like, this is a great song.
It is.
From top to bottom. Lyrically, like the beat, the hook. It's a beautiful song. It's great.
I want a villa in the Costa Rica so I can smoke my reefer and enjoy how life's supposed to treat you. Laid in the shades of the Everglades, finally forever paid. Wearing the hellest fabrics designers ever made. Me and my team, Caribbean cuisine, I guess being down for so long. I'm going to see my dream. You know what I mean? Yeah, that shit is epic, Mike. And then the song after it is More Money, More Murder, More Homicide with Nas. And the record after that is the record Do or Die. Your World Don't Stop. We Can't Win. No, that album's a classic, Mike. It's a classic.
Jay Short says Blackout was the last boom bap classic. Interesting. I never really viewed it as a boom bap classic, but hey.
I never viewed it as a classic, but that's fascinating.
Me either. and I love that album. It's a personal
classic. I never viewed it as a classic, but when you put it in that regard, I do understand fundamentally some of what he's saying. You know what my joint on there was, Mike? Run for Cover.
I love Run for Cover. Yeah, and they were getting off on that one too.
What's his name? Street Life? That was Street Life, right?
Street Life, yep. Cynical, lyrical, rap individual. On my deathbed, I spit sick flows. It's critical. I'm not a fan of this. I'm a Mike Vandalist. Thug Therapist. My Clan's too original. I think one of the knocks early on when the album came out was RZA didn't do enough production on there.
I can see that.
But like I said, I don't care about that. I actually really love how Meth and Red rhyme with each other over Eric Sermon beats. And I wasn't even that big on the style of production that Eric was doing in that time period. But you're right. Run for Cover, RZA produced that, and he did Serial Killer. So it's a whole different vibe.
It is. But here's what I'll tell you. I've been doing a little Eric Sermon dig lately. His stuff's holding up pretty well.
Oh, yeah, it is. No, Eric Sermon's an incredible producer. I'm just saying at the time, and looking back on it, I appreciate that production a lot more. It wasn't as flashy as like some of the other, well-known producers at that time. I used to be like, man, why is Redman and Method Man always using all these Eric Sermon beats?
I can't front. I was the same way.
Man with the super chat says, Redman featuring Method Man, Do What You Feel is forever as a 4-verse classic. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think actually that's their next best song together after How High.
Really? My opinion. I'm the super lyrical individual. I be spitting through that Teflon material. Take a bent off a schedule.
Like, think about Meth's verse on there, and then the fact how Red came back. It's like,
who want to flip with the acrobatic? To Cal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's 96 them. Imagine if they did an album together in 96.
Hold on. So
that's what I'm saying.
That album, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like right after Muddy Waters, they should have done it right then.
Yeah.
That was gonna be one of the best rap albums ever.
CJ Kid with the super chat says Red and Meth versus Ray and Ghost. Who wins?
Ray and Ghost.
Huh. I don't know, guys. I don't know, man. When Method Man and Redman did their verses, that was actually my favorite verses. I guess personal favorite. But they had so many records, man. Like between the two of them, they're on some really big records. I mean, they got their own records too, but they're in these big crews. They got great records too. I don't know. I guess it depends on the direction.
Right.
You want to talk about this Kodak Black, or do you want to go ahead and just rate this Westside Gunn real quick?
Let's finish rating this Westside. We're gonna do a quick shout out for a sponsor, and then we can go to
definitely. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this is always the tough thing about rating the Westside album. Mm-hmm. Like you said that you probably enjoyed the Liz 2 and the Rome Streets more. Well, that's how you feel, Mike. That might not be a fact.
Yeah. They might not be better albums. I mean, just like what we're talking about this Blackout thing.
When I'm telling you, like, this, I want to ask you something realistically.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me the songs on the Rome Streets, with the exception of Blow for Blow.
I was going to go there.
No, with the exception of Blow for Blow on Rome Streets.
Mm-hmm.
And on the list too. You tell me the records that you're really about to play more than Super Kick Party or Peppers or BDP or Science Class or Mac Don't Stop.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Tell me the record that you're really about to play more than those on those two albums respectfully.
I don't know, bro. That Soulja Boy record is hard on Rome Streets.
The Soulja Boy record's pretty tough.
Yeah,
How about this? Do you think the Soulja Boy record is better than BDP? Because I don't.
I think it could be. I don't know. I'm going to have to listen to both.
So here's what I tell you. The Soulja Boy record is the second best record on there. BDP might be the fourth or fifth best record on here. You feel me?
You think it is?
Yeah, I mean, Peppers, Science Class, Mac Don't Stop, I think are better. Super Kick Party might be better, too.
No, you think Soulja Boy is the second best record on Rome Streets album, Kiss the Ring?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, man. Rome Streets got some hard songs on here. But see,
I think you just like that aesthetic, Mike, because here's what I tell you. How are those songs really, really holding?
I think it's a personal favorite, probably.
See, that's what I mean. Like objectively speaking, this is... How about this? I feel like he did kind of what the Rome Streets project did, but these songs are more album songs, not mixtape songs.
Right. And again, I got to give Rome Streets props for getting on the mic and holding these records down himself, too. I think that with the
Rome snapped on here, too.
He did. I think with the Westside projects, when you got all of those greats on there, of course these songs are going to be great. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, so how about this? Well, let's look at it like this, then.
If Blow for Blow is on this album, is it the best song on the album?
No, because it's not better than Science Class, in my opinion.
I think it is. But
I don't agree.
Y'all.
You don't really have any evidence, like that's what I'm saying. Like there are too many. How about this? What's going on for Blow is special. Like the record's just special. There's a few special things going on Science Class. Like you're getting some fundamental rap lessons too. Like think about this. First of all, you got Busta and Ray on the stop and go pause. You know what I'm saying? Like in between the beat. And then you got Ghost. And then you got Stove and West doing the Ray and Ghost back and forth after Ray and Ghost get done rapping. No, I'm taking that over Blow for Blow. I'm sorry. I just
over the Magic and Cookie line?
That's Abraham. What I mean about moments. Like I told you, the best punchlines this year might be on Blow for Blow. That Stove with the Cookie still good on Magic Johnson line, and then the way Benny ends it, you know, if you're looking for a stable plan, I suggest you stand next to the God like Abraham. No, that's high level stuff. The whole thing from beginning to end, though, like it's a worthy conversation. But blow for blow isn't enough to hold up a whole album either, Mike. Part of the problem with blow for blow, it's clearly the best song on the album. How about this? When there's a song that clearly stands out over the other songs on an album, I usually pick the album that's more steady and sturdy. That's my personal aesthetic. And so what I would tell you is that, like you told me, well, not all ratings are built out the same. We gave the Armani a 4.5, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We gave the Rome a 4.4.
This is in that neighborhood. It's
correct.
We might need to come down on the list too a little bit, maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And this is
I was actually thinking all of these albums might be closer to 4.4s.
Okay.
For different reasons, though.
You're saying Westside 4.4 or 4.5?
4.4.
Okay.
Like, because I can't tell you definitively that it's like better than the Liz 2 or better than the Rome Streets. I just feel like these songs are going to have like more of a vibe and more legs. They feel more full and fleshed out. And that's not to knock what's going on with the Rome. Like, it's just, when Westside puts it together, it's just different, Mike. Like, think about Peppers. Like, think about that.
No, you're right. When he's involved, there's a difference. It's kind of like, you know, what we talk about with Travis. Like, when Travis Scott's involved, a song is different.
Like, how about this?
The sonics and everything.
No, listen, here's what I'll tell you. I can tell that Westside had a hand in the Liz 2, the Rome Streets, and obviously this project because they sound superior to the Benny and the Conway. Like, you can tell Benny and Conway put their projects together without Westside, because truthfully, if we were ranking the Griselda projects this year, I think it would probably go like Westside, Armani, Rome, Benny, Conway, like in terms of the project. And that's not counting the Shay album. That's what I mean. They out here working, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And Love the Genius dropped, you know what I'm saying? I know that's drum work, but that's a Griselda, you know, offshoot, obviously, because that's Conway's label. But yeah, I'm cool with the 4.4. I really want to listen to all three again. That's what I mean. Like, we're in review season, you know what I'm saying, officially. And that's why I was like, let's do the Underground Wednesday. Let's start running back through these projects, seeing what's what, and start organizing our end of year list. Because truthfully, since people like Jay-Z better not drop no damn album on Christmas Eve, Mike. I'm not reworking shit like he did last year for Nas. And I'm going to look like a hater for Jay-Z better not drop a project.
Hey, Jay, drop an album on December 24th. That'll be
right.
dope.
Don't do that. Because we had a whole yearbook and we had our whole lives situated and worked out before I left town. And here he come with Magic and we getting steamrolled while I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. So, well, why ain't y'all going live talking about Magic? Ain't nobody talking about Magic. I thought y'all was for the people. I'm like, nigga, I'm at work. I'm not even in town. Like, I don't know what.
I didn't even know this was happening. Reggie with the super chat says, Coop, out of the Def Squad, why didn't Keith Murray pop? More than he did. Whenever I play the most, still have to run it back more than once.
He went to prison and it messed up like his chances and his opportunity, and the game wasn't the same when he came back out.
Yo, Keith Murray has one of my favorite opening lines. Like, you know, he has a lot of them. But when he came out in the most beautiful thing, when he was like, y'all astronomical niggas is comical. He was like, y'all mythological niggas is comical. My astronomical was like coming through like the flu bombing you. It was like, that was the first time I'd ever really heard him though. I heard him on the Redman record, but when he came through with that, I was like, yo, y'all mythological niggas is comical. My astronomical was coming through like the flu bombing you. Most beautiful thing was a beautiful record.
Pull up. You want to know what? There's a Def Squad posse cut on there. On Keith Murray's first album.
Yo, man, the most beautifulest thing in this world is a great record. Great record.
Get Lifted is on there. Mm-hmm. How's that with Eric Sermon and Redman?
Yep.
Yeah.
36 Chambers says, never heard someone say that Meth and Red Versus was their favorite. I thought it was the best one too. Chemistry was crazy. Yeah, it's like their chemistry supersedes everything. Like, I don't even be caring about the production. I don't even be caring about their production. Like, I don't care who's producing this stuff. Born King with the super chat says two of America's most wanted is fire. Yeah, that's a dope record with two guys
Oh,
coming
that's
together
up there.
that's never
No,
worked
that's up
together.
there. That's up there. How about this? I like two of America's Most Wanted more than I like Brooklyn's Finest.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think with Brooklyn's Finest, man, it's just the beat for me. You know what I mean? I think that it's not one of the stronger beats on Reasonable Doubt, in my opinion. Jay Short says, what makes Blackout not a classic? Outside of Juvenile and Chronic 2001, what was better that year? That was the end of an era. Then Ye came and changed the sound. Ye came a few years later. Well, you talking about Ye as a producer. Okay, he's talking about Blueprint Ye. That was kind of an end of an era. I mean, that was what, 99? Black on Both Sides was that year.
Yeah. I felt like Black on Both Sides was no, you're right, 99.
Yeah, it was 99. 2000.
Sound Woman.
Yeah. 2001 just took over, man.
Nostradamus.
No.
2001.
Yeah, no. Because I feel like Water for Chocolate, was that 2000?
That's 2000.
That's 2000.
Yeah.
99 was kind of an off year. You got Volume 3 that year.
99 was a little off base. Yeah. You know what the problem with 99 is?
98 was strong.
Well, no, I was actually thinking the problem with 99 is, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98.
I think 97 was kind of a...
97 is still better than 99, Mike.
I think so, yeah. It got Life After Death in it.
Hello. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, you still got Life After Death.
All right. We're going to talk about this Kodak before we get up out of here?
A quick word for our sponsors, right?
Oh, quick. Yes. Go ahead.
Our good friend Sequoia and High Spirits Bartending has struck again. They're doing a grand opening day party tomorrow for the Zaza Hookah and Smoke Shop. It's at 5370 Stone Mountain, Building 800, Stone Mountain Highway. That's out there east side, close
Do we got a flyer? Do we got a flyer to get to the people?
Can I give it to you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me send it to you.
We'll put it in our community section. You can do it after the show, and I'll just make sure we put it in our community section.
Right. Well, I'm sending it to you now. I thought I had sent it to you the other day. That's my bad. But yeah, the one that I'm sending you right now. But they're doing a 4 to 7 customer appreciation. It's free barbecue and free cocktails. So here how it goes. You just have to purchase something and get a receipt. So you could purchase hookah tips, Mike, and that entitles you to a free drink courtesy of High Spirits Bartending, who's going to have their bar set up from 4 to 7. Shout out to Sequoia and Chandra. And you're also going to get a free plate because there's going to be a food truck there as well. They just really want to kick things off the right way. These are businessmen from Detroit that have kind of set up shop in Atlanta and really want to do good by the community. They've been talking to our dear friend and business partner, Sequoia, about some things. So we just want to show some love to Zaza Hookah and Smoke Shop.
Okay.
It's going to be at 5370 Stone Mountain, Building 800, Stone Mountain Highway, 387. That's deep on the east side for those of you who don't know. And, of course, our dear friend Sequoia Burt will be there representing High Spirits Bartending as well. We're going to be doing some stuff at High Spirits real soon, too, as well.
Okay, let me go ahead and put that flyer on the show so people can actually see that. You said it's going to be...
Yeah, go out, show some love, grab your little cocktail, grab your little drink. I'm probably going to be pulling up. Now, the customer appreciation is only from 4 to 7, but they're going to be open until midnight. So...
All right, well, let me go ahead and put this here on the screen. I'll make sure we get it in our community section as well. Shout out to them. And you said it's going to be food?
Yeah, there's going to be a food truck out there. Like literally, there's going to be barbecue and cocktails out there. So it's going to be like a nice little vibe. You can go inside the smoke shop, get your little hookah, get whatever necessities you need and whatnot. But Sequoia and High Spirits are going to be set up outside from 4 to 7. And there's going to be a food truck outside from 4 to 7. And anything that you purchase inside the shop entitles you to a free alcoholic beverage, a little bit of libation, and something from the food truck as well. So it's drinking a meal for coming in and supporting the smoke shop and business. Going to be a live DJ there as well.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and get it on the screen. I know people might see Westside right now, but that's going to change. Yeah. All right, got them on the screen right now so people could check the location. He said 5370 Stone Mountain, building 800.
Mm-hmm.
Come on out, tell them According to Hip Hop sent you, A2HH Live sent you. We'll put it in the community section, like I said, as well. We'll get to it like at the end of the show also, just so people can get it, can check it out. Let me get some of these super chats too. Man, that sounds like that's gonna be a live event.
Sounds like it might be a little bit of fun. I mean, you know how Sequoia is, man. Like, anywhere Sequoia is trying to be. I mean, you seen the last time we pulled up on one of her things. You know what the motion is like, so it's gonna be a good time. It's not a question of that. We only roll with the winners. So.
Reggie with the super chat says Jay-Z gonna drop in December. Just to piss off Coop. Boring King says Wu-Tang Forever was 97 too. Yes, it was. See, that already puts it ahead of 99.
Oh yeah, Wu-Tang Forever, Life After Death, and we're done here. About 99, right?
99 was a weak year, man. It's the weakest year of the 90s. Was it the weakest year of the 90s?
Maybe 90.
90 had.
What's the best rap album in 1990? Wanted Dead or Alive, Niggas for Life. Niggas for Life is 91, right?
No, we're missing some stuff. Nah, I'm not gonna play 1990 out like that.
Okay.
Hold up.
Let the Rhythm hit him 1990.
Bear with us real quick, guys. I know y'all in the chat probably know off top.
America's Most is 1990, and so is Fear of a Black Planet.
Yeah.
And People's Instinct and Let the Rhythm hit him. Never mind, I take all that back.
Yeah. 36 Chambers says, waiting to see Jay release a single 4-minute verse on 11/11. He's
very probably
and get talked about on CNN just to overtake the KD release. We might end up getting a 20-minute Jay-Z verse. That could happen. That may or may not happen on 11/11. Kodak?
Click. Let's take a picture.
Actually, hold on. What other year would you say? Are we missing something in 1999? I don't want to play out 1999 without a.
Are we chumping off 99?
So we got Things
Fall Apart.
91.
I just know the Low End Theory came out in 91, and so did Niggas for Life. So it's like.
So you got Mama Said Knock You Out too. I think was 90.
Yeah, Kool G Rap and DJ Polo Wanted Dead or Alive is 92. So that's like
All right, so we got Black on Both Sides for 99. You got 2001 Things Fall Apart. Slim Shady LP, Internal Affairs, Blackout, Operation Doomsday, Murder Music. That's what I was forgetting.
Okay, so how about this?
Volume 3, nothing crazy.
Here's what I'll tell you. 91. Okay, so let's look at the highlights of 91, and you tell me how you want to rank it. Because to be honest with you, it's like, well, the top is good, but it's not like Death Certificate is 1991, which is clearly. So the Low End Theory and Death Certificate are 1991. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is Niggas for Life. Quick is the Name. De La Soul is Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Scarface is back. Ghetto Boys, We Can't Be Stopped. Breaking Atoms by Main Source.
These are great albums.
Yeah, Naughty by Nature's first album is 91 too.
92 is kind of weaker.
92?
And it's interesting.
Might be weaker than that, 1992.
And it's interesting. Dre came out in both 92 and 99. We talk about Kendrick coming out in weaker years.
Might have learned from the best.
Because we got Bizarre Ride, obviously the Chronic.
Redman.
Mecca and the Soul Brother, yeah. What the Album. Check Your Head, Daily Operation. The Predator.
Blunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop.
Yeah. Don't Sweat the Technique. Dead Serious.
No, Mike, this might be the weakest year because if you take the Chronic out of this, if you take the Chronic out of this, it don't look that great because, I mean, then I'd say Redman or Pete Rock and CL Smooth's album would be your album of the year probably.
And it's not to disrespect those albums, but if you look at the rest of the 90s, none of those albums.
If you take the Chronic off of 1992 and have to crown one of these other albums album of the year, this would be easily the weakest year. So I think the weakest year is probably 92. So the Chronic 2001 came out in the 2 weakest years in the 90s. It's very fascinating stuff.
That is fascinating, right?
It was time to go to Kodak.
That's very I never thought about it.
We're gonna have to talk about it some other time.
At some point. Born King
No,
says
hold on. I
America's
want
Most.
to. And shout out to the Glove for showing us a lot of love. We're about to reach out to the Glove soon and see if we can't put something together.
Yeah, we would love to do that, man.
No, we've just been busy.
Is he located on the West Coast?
Huh?
He located on the West Coast?
I don't know. I haven't reached out yet, but I'm about to this weekend.
Okay.
I've just been tying up some loose ends, and I know. How about this? I kind of wanted to do him justice too, if he will grant us the opportunity to speak with him by like taking care of this KD run first.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't want him to drop an interview or try to speak with him or deal with him when all of this is going to be the buzz about that, and then he's not going to get his proper flowers in the process too. So I'm about to start making the reach out happen because we're getting closer to the KD3 dropping, and Westside just dropped. The year's wrapping up, and so yeah.
People are saying that 99 was fire, but what year is it better than?
92.
I'm saying, other than 92, what year is it better than?
Every year, there's a 10-year gap. So it's like, even when you rank championship teams, it's like, somebody going to be the best championship team from that decade, and somebody going to be the worst. And that just it's the way that it is.
92 and 99 look a little bit like the Spurs beating the Knicks, and
it looked like the Spurs and the Knicks in the shortened season, in the 50-game season. Yeah.
Respectful. All right, Kodak Black dropped his album, Cutthroat Bill, Volume 1. You know what? I was impressed by this, and I want to say this. I think Kodak's one of those guys in this era that has the ability to not only make radio-friendly records, for this era, but he also has something to say. And he can handle the hook. He doesn't really need features. I actually thought that the lower points of this project were when he had the features.
Hello.
And he kind of reminds me, and don't take this the wrong way, people, but he kind of reminds me of Future in a sense, where he can get on your record and change the color of it, but he also doesn't need you when it comes to featuring. So, he can just do these records himself. People come or listen to him to hear him. You know what I mean? Like, people ain't trying to hear the producer that he's working with. People ain't trying to hear who he's featured with, really. He's all, he's an insulated artist in that sense. And again, like I said, he has something to say. And I was impressed. I think this is the album that people built up Lil Baby to make.
I 100% agree with everything that you just said, Mike. I was pleasantly surprised by this project. Even though it's short and under an hour, it's still too damn long.
Yeah. It's too many tracks.
It's too many tracks. It's not too long, it's too many songs. Mm-hmm. But outside of it being too many songs, it's a pretty dope album. I'll tell you this. And this was my epiphany for the day. I agree with you about the Lil Baby sentiment. This was the album. When I heard 300 Blackout, and I Can't Sleep, and I'm So Awesome, I was like, that's the shit I asked Lil Baby to make that he ain't make. All right, that's cool. But here's what I started thinking about. Mike, I had a whole new appreciation for Gunna today and how dope Gunna is.
I was thinking that too, and you took another one of my talking points. Yeah.
Well, you took my talking point about Lil Baby, so I'm going to take your Gunna talking point. Man, that nigga Gunna is fire. Free Gunna.
He can make stuff by himself.
As much as I like this album, and I do like this album, it's not as good as Gunna's album. It's not as good as Gunna's last album, in my opinion. Gunna's that dude from this young crop, Mike. Like, while you've been talking about Savage, and I've been talking about Lil Baby, Gunna, Mike.
I'm with you on that.
And because when I heard this album today, I thought to myself, the only person from this era with this type of notoriety that I feel like could hold these songs down by himself is Gunna, who's not here right now, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so with that being said, it's like, oh no, I'm pushing Kodak up the line in his class. You feel what I'm saying?
Now, 21 has a lot of help. And Metro Boomin's a big part of that. He's about to do an album with Drake. And when you think about how much feature help 21 has had, he's had a lot of help. Now Gunna works
No,
with
that's what I'm saying. No.
Thug,
When I'm saying I'm
but
bumping him up the line, is that I'm bumping Kodak up above Lil Baby and Savage. Yeah, like as in like Gunna's the one that's really in pole position from his generation, Mike. And I just realized it when I listened to this album today. He's really that dude. Now I know why. Remember when we were interviewing Matt and the Yardies, homie Cream De Niro?
Yeah.
And Cream was like, Thug wouldn't let Gunna go anywhere because he was trying to sign him and like didn't want nobody else him falling into anybody else's hands.
Yep.
Now I understand why when Cream was telling us that. Because it's that serious with Gunna. Because the only person that can make these songs and make these songs better would be Gunna. Kodak don't need nobody. And then it made me think, it's like, oh man, a Kodak and Gunna feature on this album would have put this album over the top too. That's why I was thinking about Gunna today too, because I feel like the features didn't really do him justice on this project.
Yeah, he don't need anybody. And
then you know what else I thought about, Mike? And this was my last thought. I hope Nas has a track with Kodak.
Kendrick already did that.
No, because Kodak just gave the Liz a boost by doing a joint with Armani.
Yeah, he did.
His joint's dropping.
Yeah.
I know Kodak's people. Kodak's people gonna do numbers, and Kodak people know how to stream too.
Right.
That's a good look for artists, for independent artists like Griselda, mass appeal. A guy like Kodak wanting to come on No, so I'm for the Nas and Kodak record. Now you understand how this shit works, and he's showing himself capable of making an album like this and hold it down by himself. Oh yeah. If you can get Fabio and A Boogie with the hoodie, who I don't think are Kodak.
No, they're not.
Yep.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says,
Kodak on KD3.
He said, Kodak be talking for real introspective guy, like a real introspective guy in his music. He don't get enough credit. He gave Cardi a career. Yes, I was going to say that too.
He did rap Kodak Yellow.
He gave Megan a phrase. Kodak is the most impactful rapper today, and it's not close. You know what? Thank you for that one, Mad Max. I think I was going to leave that out of the show.
That's one of the young cats saying that.
Bodak Yellow.
That's Mad Max. That's our young cat in the chat telling us what time it is.
Yeah. Bodak Yellow is Cardi's biggest song, and she's still living off of it, to be perfectly honest, as an artist. Like, that's the record that has her sitting in a position where she doesn't have to make anything. That's Kodak.
No, y'all see, here's the thing. This is the thing that my cousin used to always tell me when I was younger, when I was first becoming an MC. Don't become so much of a head that you can't see when another nigga is dope at what he's doing, Coop. Yeah. You're doing yourself a disservice as a hip-hop head and as a fan when you take those stances in perspective and say that you're doing it for the love of the culture, because you're not doing it for the love of the culture. You're keeping the culture in one place when you do that.
That's facts.
He used to tell me that when I was a teenager, Mike.
Yeah.
It stayed with me because it's true. And so what I care about is the music. Did I hear this man making an album by himself that's dope? Yep. Did the songs where he actually had help sound like the weaker songs half the time? Yep. Does that mean he deserves some credibility and recognition? Well, yes. Is he Black Thought on the mic? Well, hell no. And he not trying to be, and he doesn't have to be to exist in this sphere and to make a good project.
He's giving other people hits, like Mad Max was saying. Like, Diddy's son has a hit because he, Kodak. It is what it is. Jay Short with the super chat says, if KD3 is any good, it doesn't matter what the other guy does. The GOAT argument will be old man yelling at the cloud at this point, or Marty McFly coming from 2001 in the DeLorean. Unknown name says, little known fact, Kodak idolizes Nas. Probably why the content is always there.
There we go.
Let's get that Kodak and Nas collaboration on KD3.
Or Corday, who idolizes Nas. You see what I'm saying? Like the guys from this generation that actually have content, who they be talking about?
Yeah. Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Kodak is number one from his class. He has hits from 2015. Gunna is good, but nah, he ain't yak. Kodak had this since No Flocking. Kodak does. I forget about those records. Now, I think
Gunna's just a better song maker consistently. Like, and then you look at the hits and the stuff that Gunna's done with Savage and Thug and Baby. Like, I'm starting to look at Gunna like, it's like, hold on. Their best stuff the last 5 years got Gunna on it in addition to Gunna stuff too.
Right.
You feel me? Right.
36 Chambers says Kodak's impact with Cardi is a problem because it waters down the music and it wasn't good. Cardi ain't it. On the old head stuff, get off my lawn. I feel you, but it is what it is. Wouldn't you say that Cardi is the biggest hip hop artist in the game right now? Let's just say rapper in the game, so I don't offend the people who think hip hop
most
and rap
visible persona. Yes, most visible.
Who's the biggest rapper in the game right now? Like from numbers, like if the one person who would put out something and would do the biggest numbers, if we're talking that.
Who would do the biggest numbers right now?
The person who, if they announce their album right now, would do the biggest numbers, you think? I think it's Cardi, actually.
If you're looking at it from that perspective, then yes, because she's bringing out. Well, I mean, actually, Mike, no, it's Kanye. It's Kanye.
Yeah, it is.
It is Kanye. Like I just didn't want to say it, and like it's Kanye.
I didn't want to say it either.
I don't even know why we fucking playing or acting like it's not Kanye. It's like, am I gonna let this pass?
Okay,
I was gonna rock with you, but then I had to have my integrity as a journalist and just let everybody know I don't give a fuck how you feel. If Kanye drops something, everybody moving for that.
A lot of people are saying Drake. If Kanye and Drake are dropping on the same day, and they ain't playing with the numbers. Y'all think Drake gonna outdo him in the numbers?
No, he's not. No, he is not. We have evidence. What did Certified Lover Boy do versus what Donda did?
I think it did more than Donda, but
I don't think it did more than Donda.
I think it did, but see, it got a weak jump on it, and they actually did the real promo, whereas Donda was just pump faking, and Def Jam just threw it out.
Ain't nobody look.
Nobody's
put Kanye and Drake straight up and down and watch Drake not do Kanye numbers.
Nobody's bigger than Kanye. I didn't want to be the one to say it because, they'll say I'm
I'll say it. Something. People's feelings aren't facts. He's the biggest artist.
They would say I'm just being a Kanye fan.
Nobody else can even create this type of fodder because they don't have the money or the power to. What are we talking about?
You know what?
Like nobody can even make you this upset. Don't you understand that?
Right.
And don't you understand who angers you does what?
What happens? And
you're gonna pick up the people who hate him are gonna be the first people to pick up the product, Mike.
We know he has the ability to do this. But what if he gives us a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy quality album? Are y'all not gonna listen to it?
It's gonna do stupid numbers, Mike. It's gonna do stupid.
They're gonna be like, man, I ain't listening.
People be playing like,
man, I ain't listening to this nigga shit, man. I don't know.
Say one, but you play R. Kelly half on a baby. Got it.
But yeah, are we rating this Kodak album yet?
I would like a little bit. I want to pull up on Wednesday. We'll start off the show by giving a rating. I do want to listen to it one more time.
People are saying that Drake is bigger than Ye. I think we need to talk about this briefly.
We can talk about that. We can rate Kodak on Wednesday.
Y'all really think that Drake is bigger than Ye based on what? Based on the streaming numbers that they say?
Hold on, because I'm gonna tell you what. If the back of Drake shit don't say Feature and Future and Young Thug and Kanye, it's not gonna move the same.
It's not. Come on, man. This guy moves the needle. Come on, man. Like you said, Coop, would Drake make y'all this mad? We seen Drake in full out blackface. Ain't nobody mad.
Look. And people don't give a damn. It's like Drake been hiding a baby. It's be like, but that's my light-skinned Chico DeBarge. It's like, okay, we know. Step over.
No. Imagine if Kanye West was in blackface. We'd still be seeing that photo.
We'd still be talking about it on the show. We still be talking about it on the show because people still be in the chat talking about it every time we mention him. Be like, you remember when he put the blackface on though, right?
Because you know what? 2018 was when the blackface was discovered. 2018 is also when he said the whole slavery is a choice. Which one are we still hearing?
Hold on. Mike, do you remember this little song called Infrared, where Pusha T had these bars, and I quote, let Steven talk streaming and Shazam numbers. Right. When people talking about the numbers being moved, this is what the source was telling me. Certain fan bases and certain artists and their teams, they know how to get the streams popping. Shazam. That's why Pusha T bought up Shazam. You know the first streaming thing that the source bought up when she was talking to all of us? Shazam. Right. These are the games we play. And I'm not talking about the Pusha T song, Mike.
Mad Max says Drake is selling the most. Certified Lover Boy did 700,000 or something like that. And Ye had the better reception, though. This is the thing, guys. I'm going to be perfectly honest, and I'm just going to say this on this platform. I don't know if, YouTube is going to block us for this, but I just don't believe the streaming numbers. I don't. I just don't believe the streaming numbers.
There you go.
They don't make sense to me.
Hold on. Did I get a notification today that according to hip hop?
I got a notification.
Okay. That's
no, but I mean, I think that the streaming numbers, we can't really quantify them. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw the baby get 22,000, I was like, that's impossible, man. Even if people don't like him, you know what I mean? It's funny.
Was a whole chart.
It's always the people. It's always the people they don't like that got bad streaming numbers. When the game puts out the Black Slim Shady, he gets low streaming numbers, quote unquote. When the game's in Cali, you telling me Cali ain't playing any of these records? Jay Short, tell me that Cali ain't playing La La Land right now.
Hold on. Here's how you know that it's real. The local shop owners, flea markets, hood spots, corner stores, barbecue joints, they're the ones that's playing games music. Like, so even if niggas ain't outside playing the music, the owners of the business, it's like, no. It's Cali. I know how Cali.
How is Game not doing numbers? Right. It always seems to be the people that they don't like that get the low streaming numbers. It's weird. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, Drake is out streaming and outselling Ye. Ye is sells contemporaries, but Drake isn't that. He's the biggest superstar of the past decade. You know what? Y'all gonna say I'm hating. Y'all gonna say I'm hating, but tell me the last Drake hit where it's just him. If he's such a superstar and the biggest in the game, tell me the last Drake hit song where it's just him. Because that album when he was out there doing the little singing and stuff, people wasn't really feeling that like that. Let's just be real.
I think people are looking at the celebrity and the persona and not really looking at the recent track record.
I'm waiting in the chat. What is Drake's
No. Don't nobody have no smoke for that, Mike. That was a rhetorical question you were asking.
What is Drake?
Realize it was rhetorical.
He's such a superstar. Yeah, Miss Mo said Drake Ben fell off. They said it don't matter. His last hit doesn't matter. He's a superstar. Now, I would have felt better if you guys said Doja Cat. Shit. She got hits. She does.
Got some bangers floating around.
She got bangers out here. If you want to talk about streams and doing numbers and hearing hit records all over the radio, I would look. If you said Doja Cat, I'd be fine with that. I couldn't refute that. She got the work. Mad Max says Drake numbers are like that because his mother's side of his family, and because he promotes himself better than any other rapper. He drops a 3-pack track to get people ready, and then he uses the internet memes as promo. And forgot about that he jumps on other people's songs that are already going. 36 Chambers says, Drake has become Khaled. He thrives on features. Glad you mentioned Khaled. He was on that Khaled album with Lil Baby. How's that song doing for the biggest superstar in the game? Let's be honest, guys. We can't be living in 2018. It's 2022, man. Like, we got to be real. We got to be honest. Mad Max said, God's plan is the last one. How long ago was that? And that's not even a rap song, if we want to be real.
God's plan? That's how far back we're going? Mike, what year is that?
I
So
thank you
it's
for
5 years, isn't it?
thank you for actually mentioning a song, Mad Max. But can you actually mention a song with bars?
Mark, let's cover the time frame first. Hold on.
So I said Mike got an eye for Doja Cat. I'm just respecting the game. Y'all ain't hear the fact she got all these hits? And she's actually rapping too. We can't pull that on her. She's doing more rapping on these pop songs than Nicki ever did on Starships and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been 4 years. That's on Scorpion. That's 2018. It's been almost 5 years. And that's not a rap song.
And it's not a rap song.
This is according to hip hop.
I'm just asking people a question. If he's the biggest superstar in hip hop, this should be an easy question to answer. Jay Short says Drake versus Ye will solve this.
Y'all don't want that. Like, I don't think people understand that you might pull up next to somebody at 7:00 in the morning playing "We Want Easy" in California. Game's getting streams. They still playing "We Want Easy."
Like I said, after I saw Game's numbers and the Baby's numbers, I don't believe these streaming numbers they come out with. I don't. I can't. So that's what the super chat says. I put 92 over 99. The Chronic, Mecca and the Soul Brother, Bizarre Ride, Daily Operation, What the Album, The Predator, DOS Effects, Dead Serious, Don't Sweat the Technique, Runaway Slave, Music to Drive By. I'm with you. I put 92 over 99 too. It's a lot of really good albums.
Take The Chronic off of 1992 and tell me what the album of the year is.
Well, we could say the same thing about 99.
No, we can't. We got Things Fall Apart by the Roots.
We do got Things Fall Apart by the Roots. But you got Mecca and the Soul Brother. Mecca and the Soul Brother. What the album?
I'm sorry. I think first of all, Things Fall Apart are better than those albums to me.
Okay.
You think Mecca and the Soul Brother is better than Things Fall Apart by the Roots?
I don't know. I'm going to have to listen.
It's very problematic.
I don't know. I think that might be Things Fall Apart, but if we were talking Main Ingredient, I think I might be a little bit more. I'm biased to Main Ingredient. I love that album. 36 Chambers says, no one's saying the music is good. It still gets numbers. But what songs are we talking about, guys? If you're a superstar, you know what superstars do? Superstars drop songs with nobody but themselves on it, and it's the biggest song out there. That's what superstars do. Mad Max of the super chat says, you just asked what was the last one. It was 2018. It was the last one that Drake has done. And, I appreciate your answer, Mad Max. But I'm just saying that's still not a rap song. And we're not going to sit here and act like when Travis put out Sicko Mode, that didn't save his whole year. That's Travis' song. We're not going to sit here and act like it took a nigga to come out here and do some shiggy dancing and shit for one of his songs to jump off. Let's just be real, guys. The Kiki song was doing nothing. The man had to go out there and do some popping and shaking for it to jump off. This is real life. I'm just being real, guys. I'm not hating or nothing. I think we're giving the credence a little bit too much.
Maybe, possibly.
Jay Short says, Drake and Beyonce fans can't admit it's not 2010. Thank you, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, sir.
When people keep saying he's the biggest star. No, everybody that was pulling up saying he's the biggest star. It's like,
where's the music?
Talking? This is not 2008 to 2012.
Exactly. You know what? Thank you for saying that, Jay Short. I had to have a conversation with a Beyonce fan the other day. Y'all thought I was Max Kellerman when I made the prediction that this album was going to be where it is now at this point. People thought I was tripping. Ain't nobody playing this Beyonce stuff. They tried to get she even had Michelle Obama trying to push her first single, man. People are not rocking with it. Yeah, Michelle Obama was tweeting about Break My Soul.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I haven't listened because her following hasn't given me enough of a reason to, because it's like I'm not the super biggest fan of her music, and her following will usually let you know how good her product is.
I think it's a good album. I don't want to say that. I'm just saying that it's been too long. The gap is too far, and people have moved on. That's
Right, like the
it's
album
not a
that
bad
had
album.
like the album that had Partition and Blow on it and all that. No, that was a dope ass project. And her fan base was like letting you know. I was like, okay, no, let's bring a copy of that on in the house. You know what I'm saying?
No, but again, like
I haven't
Jay
felt the
Sean,
buzz like that to feel the need to go listen to it. Is what I'm saying, because she's not who I go to for my R&B music.
of course. But I mean, and again, even with the song that has a look, if Beyonce has a dance challenge out there on social media, I mean, she doesn't need that. She's a super mega icon. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's a
she's
problem. I mean, and again, it is not just her. Eminem had to get a challenge for one of his songs and stuff too. When the challenge jumps off, and I think Drake started that with the Shiggy challenge and all that stuff. That's not a good sign for a superstar. You don't need that. So I said I'm not providing the alternative. I mean, the biggest superstar in rap right now. I mean, I like I said, I think
just told you, Kanye. What do you mean alternative? There is not an alternative.
Yeah.
You've not been paying attention. That's what I'm saying. People have been paying attention to the discourse.
People just don't want to admit.
You want to know who's the biggest.
People don't want to admit that he's the biggest superstar.
Right, that's what I'm saying. People are sowing their feelings. I'm not even going to deny this. I've never seen nothing like this before.
You pulled up to a listening event that he was doing at a arena.
In Atlanta, no, in Black Hollywood, Mike. This Black Hollywood.
Who else could do a listening event in an arena? Y'all think the Beyonce could pull up and do that? Y'all think Drake could pull up and do that?
It was in an arena, Mike. It was the people, Mike. Told you I heard people on some no hablo. I was like, is that like Slavic? That somebody's over there speaking? I was like, what? Is that some Eastern European like tongue, like in Atlanta, Georgia? Walking into the arena, the dude, Mike, forever in my mind is the visual. It's one of my biggest concert memories. The dude to the left of me, like this with the phone, the whole time to record. The whole time.
Icon status.
I don't have any conversations about who the biggest artist in the spirit is.
Mad Max says, nah, Drake finished now. He used to rap beefs for soap operas to promote himself. He uses rap beefs for soap operas to promote himself. Drake done now, but the women keep the kid alive. Okay. That's fair, I guess. I mean, we'll see what Drake and 21 do next week, but again, it's a collaborative effort. You know what I'm saying?
I'm fascinated. I'm excited for both of them about the effort. It's not like I'm trying to knock Drake, but like
I'm just being honest.
Like this, and this
He's
is
had
what
an incredible run.
But this is what I mean. You got to pay attention to media and news cycles. Well, you're asking us this question right now on October 28th. 2022, in this microwave society that we live in where things happen fast.
Yeah, Ice Spice is the hottest in the game right now.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, look at everything that just happened to Kanye this year and in the past week. No, if he dropped next week, Drake and 21 ain't dropping next week. Bet that.
They were saying that
they'd be getting their shit moved back another week and then be like, no, KD3 coming in. Boom.
Listen,
want to
man.
bet? If Kanye were to want to decide he wanted to drop next Friday, I bet you Drake and 21 getting pushed back.
Drake and 21 was supposed to come out this week, but Ice Spice came out with something, and they said that their engineer or 40 had COVID, so they had to push it back. So they've already pushed back.
They had an ego check. That's what they had.
36 Chambers says, Mad Max is right. No one here is a Drake fan like that. It's just that he has female fans that keep his numbers up. Billboard articles from June 2022 show that Drake is at 4 billion streams, highest of the year. You know what? We want to talk streams, and I've seen some of these charts too. We're leaving out NBA Youngboy. We want to be like that. Because this nigga does crazy numbers.
NBA Youngboy out here doing numbers.
Nah, he got crazy
numbers on the board. He out here putting numbers on the board. I'm with you on that. If you want to say that it's not Kanye, give me him because he's putting some verified numbers on the board.
He making songs.
His YouTube numbers, Mike, I aspire.
It's crazy.
They are his YouTube numbers are inspirational. I was like, that's where I hope Mike D and me and According to Hip Hop can be. I'll be looking up at the video after I'm done. Like, we can get there one day if we try.
He has the loyalist followers out there. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Mike, you talking about Drake and Beyonce while they're trying different styles and just chilling. But if they really wanted to go hard in the paint for them numbers, they would tip the scale. So you're gonna is that the ship you're gonna go on, Leroy? They're not trying? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If Beyonce came out with an album in 6 years and she's just not trying. She has Michelle Obama tweeting out her song, but she's not trying. Okay, I got you. This was an unplug that she was doing
how
for
the Twitter affects the streams too.
So this is what she was doing for an intimate audience or something, right?
Hold on. That's what the source was talking about how Twitter affects the stream. He said Michelle Obama sent out a tweet, a Beyonce song. That's what I'm talking. It's a cold game, Mike.
Darius Campbell says, can you touch on the Glorilla situation? I'm not aware of what's going on with Glorilla. She's popping right now, too.
I'm about to say, what happened?
I don't know. We've been on live for a couple of hours. You know how fast everything happens nowadays.
Right. It might be too late. That's why I'm saying people talking about some goddamn Drake. I'm like, no, yay.
Mad Max to the super chat says the biggest superstar is between three people. If we're being honest, Cole, Ye, and Cardi. Cole is the MC superstar. People want to hear rap. Cardi and Ye are personalities. Y'all didn't mention Kendrick. What do y'all think about Kendrick as a superstar in this game? I guess the fact that he wasn't mentioned says it all, right?
Oh, I don't have anything to say.
You don't have anything to say? He just did a live performance that was streaming on Amazon Prime. I was going to check it because I didn't get a chance to check it live. And when I went back to Amazon Prime, it was gone.
It's unfortunate.
36 Chambers says, as of that June article, NBA was number 2 behind Drake. But this is what I'll ask you, 36. How many of those Drake streams are collaborative efforts? How much of that is him actually being on Future's records that they're counting as well? We know NBA YoungBoy stuff is his self. You know what I mean? Like, he not getting those streams off of collaborations.
He is the collaboration.
Yeah. Jay Short says, Drake had the easiest assignment ever. Write a hit for a white rapper on Rolling Stone cover with minimal bar work. He failed. Yes. Do we not give this L to Drake for the whole Jack Harlow situation? Come on, guys. Why is that not the biggest song in the game if he's such a superstar? I'm just being real. I'm providing you evidence. Mad Max says, I forgot NBA YoungBoy. His fans are crazy. He has that 10 to 22 crowd.
Yes. Got it on lock.
Man, we can continue this conversation forever. This is fun, but we got to get up out of here in a second. We'll put our sponsor up again at the end and make sure we put that in the community section so people that are in the area can check it out, man. 36 Chambers says, Mike, you got me on that. Drake's all collabos. Yeah. Different streams.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Campbell says she lost all the rights to F and F. Oh, damn.
Oh, right. You're talking about the situation with the producer and they was going through the battle. She lost the rights.
She lost the rights. Damn. This feels too early for all this kind of stuff to happen. You see how quickly things can happen? How long has
it's happening fast. That's what I mean. This is the culture that we live in now.
This stuff usually takes years to happen.
I'll tell you what. Here's what I would tell her is, you're the artist. The best way to kill this record is to go make another big hit record because that really kills the record. Like, you know what I mean? Because you want to know what keeps records alive? When the artist supports the record and continues to perform it for their whole career. So if she actually deads the record, you feel me? Dead the record and go do it again. You can do it.
It helps that it happens that fast. So it's quicker for people.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead and dead the record.
Yeah.
Dead the record and go do something else. It's like, I know that's how she's eating right now. But go start navigating the next circumstance to eat and go ahead and dead that record.
Yeah, no, definitely. Leroy Green says, people like Drake, Beyonce, and Jay always can pull an ace and just have all the majors send their hottest beats and hooks through. And it's done. It's going to do numbers. They just did that with Beyonce. She had everybody on that album. Everybody. Come on, Leroy, man. It's not 2010. It's just not, man. It's a new day. LP says Taylor Swift's proving it's not just the streaming model. It's the fan base. Because, oh, yeah, she got some crazy numbers coming out. Because the numbers that she's doing is crazy. Guess they all know how to stream. Yeah, I think her whole fan base.
See, let's go ahead and pause right quick on this before we get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
The fan base is crazy. So they do everything.
Yeah.
Right. So
they're not going to be like, yo, I'll just get to that later.
Right.
Because I'm that kind of fan base.
That later. Right.
I'm that kind of fan base. I'm not fronting on people. I'm that kind of fan base. Yeah, I'll go listen to that later. Their fan base don't like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Her fan base is like, no, I need my hard physical copy. I need my vinyl. And I need to stream this on all my different apps. And I need to put it in. I need to have this song on in this room of the house. Like, that's how her fan base is. You feel what I'm saying? So respectfully, LP, the fan base being crazed is part of how the sales and the streams are happening. The fan base is crazy, and they support every way up and down the line.
I thought that's what he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
somebody said, when was Kanye's last solo?
He's saying Taylor Swift is proving it's not the streaming model. And what I'm saying is like, no, she's proving that her fan base is crazy, so she's going to survive in any model. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter if it's a sale, a stream, an LMNOP, a partridge in a pear tree, Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. It don't matter.
Nick Miller with the super chat says Taylor Swift is the reason albums are being pushed back. Now that's for damn sure. Now I agree with. And on that note,
that's who got everybody's shit pushed back was Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, man. We will holler at y'all on Wednesday or Monday for the other people that are checking out the Ray and Ghost and Patreon. And we'll keep you updated.
The Ray and Ghost.